following episode of Orsini's Uncensored Mind contains explicit language and adult content. The thoughts and opinions stated on this show are reflective of AZ Orsini, Deceive Dave, and their guests exclusively. Seriously, guys, my dada and uncle say some pretty crazy stuff. If it offends you, go be butthurt somewhere else.
To Roman Reigns. Oh my God! Paul Heyman, you son of a bitch! You piece of garbage! Paul Heyman! What the hell did we just witness? Low blows his best friend in his Double G!
Rewind a couple of weeks. Seth Rollins said, "You owe me the favor now."
This is absolute insanity!
The devil's work is afoot.
Welcome to Orsini's Uncensored Minds, and now your hosts, AJ Orsini with Dave.
Hey! How the hell is everybody out there? Oh, there's a lot of moving around. Oh, man, we are all survivors here. We're survivors. Take it in. Wrestlemania weekend is over. It has come to an end. The ship is leaving town. They're out of Vegas. We're moving on with our lives. But what a weekend. So much to discuss. The good, the bad, the ugly, the unsurmountable, illogical, and the surprise. We are here, and I am not alone. Don't let the question mark fool you. Dave, are you with us?
Yup.
And that microphone.
Yup.
And that microphone, though. Nice.
It is. It's pretty nice.
Yes, it is. It's nice. Is what it is. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so really quickly, right here off the top, let's set the stage for what's about to happen here. So, today is an aftermath episode. So what happens here is that we will be divulging into our personal experiences when it comes to this weekend. We'll be breaking down the matches that took place, some of the surprises that took place on the After Mania Raw edition that took place on Netflix. And then when we hit the stop button on this, then we are taking a pause. Ooh, excuse me, that snuck up on me. A pause for the cause here at the end of every WrestleMania weekend because there's so much promotion, so many things leading up to Mania, and then Mania itself. We take a little wrestling break. We squeeze our sponges, our brains, we wring them out. We take a break, we talk about life. Who knows, next week we'll be talking about the national debt. Who knows what the hell we'll be talking about, but I can guarantee you it will not be wrestling. I don't give a shit what they do next week. Between now and next week, it's off the fucking table. We need a break. We need a palate cleanser. So I've got some ideas. There's some things that we're going to be putting together. But this episode will be basically WrestleMania Aftermath. It will be kind of a rundown of everything that took place, what was going on in our mind when we were watching the whole thing. Me and Dave have a unique story, or unique stories, I should say, to tell about some of these matches and some of the stuff that's going on, because we actually were together in the same room for night one. So we got to experience the show in the same room at the same time. So it's not just the usual review where I see it, you see it, we'll put our thoughts together. We actually experienced most of this together. So this should be a very unique show. I'm not going to be using the drops and the in and outs and all that other stuff because basically, I mean, segment one basically is the main event. It all runs together. So we're not going to get fancy today. We're just going to talk that talk, and we're just going to hit these topics, and we're going to do our best to entertain along the way. And to get it right out of the gate here, just to have it on and fucking popping about this particular fucking weekend. Let's start the very, very beginning. As a matter of fact, let's start before it. You and I were talking on this show about a week ago today about how this WrestleMania just doesn't feel right. Just doesn't feel like we're not juiced to the way that we were, say, the previous year for 40, right? It just didn't have that same. It didn't have that same je ne sais quoi. There was something off about this particular weekend.
It didn't, but I don't know if I should spoiler alert it or
Tease. It's a tease. It's a tease.
let's as we talk about this, and after I've seen a few people's reactions,
Right.
this was necessary.
Okay. I think we're gonna be on the same.
Tone.
I think we're gonna be on the same page today.
Okay, because
Okay.
I was interested about even though we experienced it in the same room,
Right.
I still don't know the vibe.
Okay. All
So
right.
this is gonna be interesting. Just so that you all know, I'm gonna get his takes fresh. I don't know his take.
Right.
Even
We
when
didn't
sat
really
together,
discuss
We were
it.
just watching.
Yeah, we're just watching.
We didn't discuss it.
Yeah. We didn't do the show before the show. It was just a fun day, night out with the family and friends and drink and merry. But we didn't actually sit down and break anything down, or
No.
we just enjoyed the show for what it
We
was.
didn't really discuss after each match.
Yeah, that's true.
We just let it rock.
Just let it rock.
Yeah.
We just watched the show. That's all that it was. Yeah. So exactly that. So we have some unique situations that we're going to talk about here today. But I want to start there. I want to start with the fact that, because you were just saying that it was a necessary WrestleMania, and that theme, I think, starts there. It starts, for me anyway, it starts at the hype. It starts with the word of the day. The little Pee Wee Herman. The word of the day. And the word of the day is expectation. That's the word of the day. Because from what I've been hearing, for those who had a good time and for those who didn't really have a good time, a lot of that perspective as to why it was a good time or a bad time was really based on expectation. Every WrestleMania is the showcase of the immortals. It's where the legends are born. It's all the hype. It's all the marketing machine that everybody always talks about. But along with that hype comes a sense of, yes, this is supposed to be the one night of the year where I'm just overwhelmed and wowed with joy, and they're going to give me these great storylines to coming to an end, to fruition, these phenomenal entrances and the colors and the pageantry in the whole shebang. And there were a lot of people going into this WrestleMania who were hyped for it that got let down. There were those who came into this WrestleMania with very little expectation, and then some of the matches and some of the situations that came up on the show actually exceeded expectation. We'll get to one of those in a second. But there seems to be varying opinions. What you said a second ago that you've heard some of the vibe from people about how. Well, let me just ask you straight out: are you hearing anything on your end, social media wise, or anything, or any videos from people who were just completely? Let's start there. Completely disgusted by this pay-per-view.
I don't know if it's complete disgust, nor can I say for sure because my algorithms isn't littered with it.
Mm-hmm.
My wife was actually sending me some stuff because she got super interested. So she loves seeing things that she feels may or may not be controversial, and then she goes straight to Reddit and shit to see what people are saying.
Yes.
She loves that shit. So she didn't give me anything crazy. She was just saying that a lot of people dislike this pay-per-view. They didn't like it. They were upset about this. They were upset about Gunther. They were upset about. They were just everything she said. She never said, "Oh, they love this pay-per-view" or "People really liked it." Everything was just a negative. People had a problem with it. Mm-hmm. And then I sent you that video, and I know it wasn't. I I understand your critiques, and I felt the same way. But there's a reason why I wanted you to kind of take a look at it, because I feel like the guy in the middle, and you can maybe I just don't know, but I felt like the guy in the middle should know more.
Right.
And I felt like his takes were the same as, even though they were agreeing with him, they were the same as the people who openly, admittedly, didn't really watch or like wrestling.
Right.
And I wanted to come to you and ask you, because I know your shit is riddled with a lot of that stuff. Even though he sounded, I don't want to shit on him, but even though he sounded kind of dumb with his takes, in my personal opinion, what you're seeing, is it consistent to what he was saying, or is it the other way, like people raving about this pay-per-view? I'm going to keep calling it pay-per-view. I don't care.
Yeah, me too. I gave up on that a while ago.
Yeah. It's pay-per-view. I'm old.
So the podcast that we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is the Ariel Helwani podcast. That's the MMA guy who does a lot of, he does dabble in wrestling. He's a fan.
And I don't want to shit on him because I like that guy.
No, I like the guy too. He asks the real questions. I
hated those takes.
I'll never stop enjoying his Tony Khan interview where he was just laying into fucking Tony. He would not stop. And I was like, give it to him, Ariel. And he also had Punk on there. That was a really good one. He's had some really good shows. No, but yeah, at the end of the day, when you're not in the business, whether you know enough about it or not, you do come off sounding sometimes like the bad word that everyone hates to use, but it's there for a reason. He sounds like a mark a lot of the times. Role reversal, right? He's really known for being an MMA expert. So if I got on the podcast here and started giving you guys some MMA opinions and some MMA thoughts, he would listen to my shit and think the same exact thing. Have I seen
way
some?
Off.
If I have seen some UFC fights, does that make me a UFC expert? No, I don't really follow it like that, right? So my takes, while seemingly educated to my fellow ignorant fans, to a true expert, they gotta listen to me and go, this fucking guy doesn't know a fucking thing about MMA at all whatsoever. And that's kind of how like I feel sometimes when I listen to people like that, because they talk extremely confidently about what they're saying, and they should, because he is a professional and he does have a very valid opinion considering how many people within the industry that he knows. He has actually been as a correspondent at WWE pay-per-views in the past, so he has been a part of certain shows, so he's dipping his toe into the water. He's getting acclimated, so he does have some background within the industry, but you can kind of tell based on the video that you sent me that it's there, but it's not there, because his take was, and you guys can find it on YouTube. It's about a 20-minute video. He had a very,
it's not bad.
He had a very fan-like approach to his opinion about the pay-per-view, which is fair. I don't take that away from anybody. A fan is a fan. A fan is a fan. But that was the take that he kind of gave. And considering his background, I kind of expected that to be not.
I think that's what took me.
Yeah, I expected him to.
I don't
have
know.
A little
I don't
bit
even know
more.
if that's fair, but that's what took me back.
I think it's a little fair because, like I said about the background that he has, it's not like he's a complete novice. He's known people. He has had conversations. I don't think he's in the booking room or anything. But he's approaching this the best way that he knows how, and that's as an avid fan. And an avid fan would talk basically the way that he spoke in that segment. So I'm not trashing the guy. I'm a big fan, actually. I love the way that he does his thing. But that particular take, and then he's got the two guys with him that are openly admitting, I don't know jack shit about any of this, but here's what they should have did, right? So, but what you just asked me a second ago, is his take vibing with a lot of other people who seemingly are in the know, and how do they feel about the podcast?
Universe.
Right. So far, universally, if I'm going to give you a gauge or a meter as to where I feel my algorithm, because and I've said this on the show before, so I'll say it again now for the purpose of the rest of this episode. I add all the goofy shit to my page. I add pages, I add groups, I add fan this, fan that. I add all those things because I want to see where it's at. I want to see what the scuttlebutt is. I want to see what the talk is. I want to put my ear to the ground. And we're only about 15 minutes into recording this. And the overall sense that I'm getting from people is that they feel that if it is not the worst, it's one of the worst WrestleManias of all time.
That's fucking insane.
And that's the overall vibe that I'm getting. We can all, of course, agree to disagree, which I do because I have seen some stinkers. But I could make a 5 right now that are probably even worse than this one. But when you have an annual show and you've had 41 of them, you're going to have some bad ones. And for entertainment purposes, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that's your opinion about the show, that's your opinion about the show. I don't necessarily think that you or I feel that way. And as far as it being the worst, I don't think you or I feel, I don't want to speak for you, but I don't think it's the worst WrestleMania we've ever seen. But at the same time, we have our picadillos. We have our matches that we thought were tremendous, and then we have our matches where we thought, yeah. And we'll get into more of that. We already spoke on the last show kind of about the Hall of Fame, so I'm going to skip that. When you were at the house, we got to see some of the inductions. I found out that I'm going to have to actually call out of work and spend several hours watching Triple H's induction for some reason, which is upsetting because when we were watching, we were really excited about the Austin Brett match, and Punk comes out there. He's like, yeah, I only got 2 minutes, and then Brett comes out. He's pissed. Yeah, we only got about 2 minutes, so I'm going to let Steve talk. They got their shit cut down, and then the very next inductee, which is Triple H, got a full fucking hour.
I think that was intended. I think what wasn't intended, what's her face going as long as she did.
Oh,
she
Michelle McCool, yeah,
she went crazy.
She
long.
took, she made a mile out of that inch, boy. She went for it.
We're skipping that.
Yeah, we're skipping all that. We paid our respects last week, and I don't mean to skip it in a disrespectful way now, but we just have far too much to discuss. I don't have time for a 4-hour show this week. So we just going to get right into the talk. We're going to get right into it. First and foremost, also, I want to talk a little bit about the day that you had missed. I went over a segment. I did a segment where I was talking about WrestleMania stages in the past, the way that the entranceways were designed and how they looked and all that stuff. I absolutely loved this year's look. I thought it was really cool. Huge.
And we didn't get to notice it when we were there, but when Logan came, I didn't know there was seats above.
Yes.
I didn't know that until he let it go, and I'm like, yo, no, because I was shitting on the seats on the side.
Yeah,
no, they paid way too much for that. But the top, dude, that's fire, dude.
You get to look down at the entrance happening in front of you. God, and you know what? A lot of people in the house. We had a full house, by the way, folks. I got family. I got friends. It was a happening, as Gorilla Monsoon would say. I was the only one in the house. I was riding dolo on this. You say that those seats that are on the entranceway but to the side were bad, I would fucking do it. I would fucking do it. Oh, man, I thought that would have been so cool, especially since I saw that they had the table there. They can have their food right there. I'm like, oh, I'm set up, son. And they're going to be right there. The entrances are like right there. Oh, my videos would have been top tier right there. I would have got all the angles like that. I'd have been like, and then I would have been in the Minute Maid commercial. Because they were doing the little Minute Maids. They was giving them T-shirts. And they would say, shake the fuck out the shirt. They go like, Minute Maid juice, motherfucker. Like really hard in the camera. And they had to do it with the mascot. He came out in a full juice bottle. It was an amazing happening over there. All that stuff was cool. I love the look. My wife, to this day, is a huge fan of those screens that came down.
Those were amazing.
Those were amazing. Fucking cool, man. This whole
and I love
setup.
how they were interactive. So as the wrestler came down, they got lower. Oh,
yeah.
dude, it was so good. whoever came up with that, they're cooking in there.
Yeah, they were doing some really, really cool shit, man. So this had a really cool look. It had a really cool feel, and and we talked about it on the round table. I still had my level of excitement. To me, it's WrestleMania, but even I had to admit, not as juice for some of the matches. So I had very low expectation for them, which is probably why some of them did exceed. There is one match that I'm going to completely obliterate, but that's okay. We'll get to that. But we're going to start off with night one. We're going to start off where we all knew it would start off. It was a surprise to absolutely nobody. Jey Uso, Gunther for the world title. I said it at the round table. I'm going to repeat it now. The Royal Rumble winner does not need to be the last match on the card. It could still be a very high-profile matchup, hence why they're calling it a main event match, because it's main event level, but it's not in the actual main event. He's not going to get credit for being in the main event for this match. But, having said that, Jey Uso, Gunther for the world title. What did you think about that entrance from Jey? Would you have felt that one the same way you did in Philly, or did it not vibe like it did before?
It's such a weird question that you asked that, because it's so weird. What I'm assuming you felt like it was weak, because even I thought, like, not that it was weak, but I don't even want to call it flat. It was still kind of big. I don't know. I think he may have gotten in his head a little bit about going over, that he didn't really do it the way he normally does. I don't really know how to explain it. I felt it. It felt a little off.
I felt he was trying to carry that Raw energy, the one where he was being super serious and he's focused and he's locked in. So he's doing it, but he's kinda not doing it, and he doesn't want to blow himself up, He's just lasered in, and which is good for the storyline, but it didn't make for me for he's known for a very energetic entrance. And this was the night to do it, and I'm already getting the vibe here where I was just like, oh, come on, let's go, let's get me hype, let's go, get hype, and he got hype after, though. when he won the match.
And like you said, you made mention to it. I feel like there's a lot of smoke for that match that I don't know anything about, that happened backstage or something like that. It all just kind of felt weird.
Right. So I don't really play into rumors, right? But like I said before about having my ear to the ground, that there's a lot of talk and a lot of behind the scenes whatever that people are hearing, and they may be true and it may not, because nothing's been confirmed by any camp. But there's a lot of talk that there were certain people involved that weren't happy about the finish that they had planned, which wasn't the tap out. Apparently there was another finish that was planned. There was somebody involved with the process that wasn't happy with it, and then all of a sudden it went from that to a tap out. Almost like the tap out was kind of like punishment for the attitude issue the night before or the day of, or however that was translated into. So read into that whatever you want to read into. I think that also stems from the fact that once the match was over, Gunther kind of fucked off. He just kind of fucking left. So not the fact, it wasn't like he was gonna stick around and hug the fucking guy, but still, it was kind of abrupt. There wasn't a whole lot of selling. There wasn't a whole lot of gimmick or character. It was like tap out, he wins, he sells for a bit, powders out, and just fucking fuck all this noise. When they do the pyro on the stage for Jey, you could see Gunther fucking walking out of there. Fuck all this. I don't even care if I blow up right now. I don't give a shit.
He just walked down the middle.
He just fucking left, yeah.
Yeah, like even when he came back and shit, it was like he shouldn't be in the shot, but he just kind of was lumbering past. Like it was fucking weird.
Yeah, it was just a weird vibe at the end there. But then we get the The Jey Uso win for the world title. He's on the fucking desk celebrating with Pat McAfee, the whole shebang. Then we get Jimmy in the ring, and that makes Jay a little bit more emotional. He gets in the ring to give the big brotherly hug, the big support right there. My brother just won the World Heavyweight Championship. He's the king of the castle right now. He rules the roost on Monday Night Raw. Does main event Jey Uso. The match itself, it's a Jey Uso match. It wasn't really much of a Gunther match, which I think is part of the reason people were kind of meh on the match, but that's okay. The result was given. The fans were into it. What they needed to accomplish, they accomplished. So I'm not gonna go back and that's not my hill to die on. If you didn't like the match, you didn't like the match. That's okay. Moving on to the WWE World Tag Team Championship match. The War Raiders, Eric and Ivar, defending against the New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, and some guy on Instagram had me fucking crying because he's a local and he goes to that building a lot. And that building is home of the NFL franchise, the Las Vegas Raiders. And he was at WrestleMania, and the War Raiders lost this matchup, and he recorded himself as they lost with this sad song in a grayscale, and he just goes, "Great, another Raider lost inside this building." I was crying. He was so sad. Yes, the New Day and the War Raiders, this was the match that absolutely nobody gave a fuck about, so my expectations were low. Having said that, this match was not bad. I
liked it.
Yeah, I liked it. I actually didn't think
and
this
I
match
went
was
in the
bad.
same way as you. Like, it's New Day, okay, whatever. Like,
Right, yeah.
they're good. They're one of those people, but I'm a firm believer, and he is trying like deliberately to do something with the tag team division. So I don't mind them having the belts, and we'll see what they do with it. And then I really liked that show. The match was good. It was good.
Yeah, I thought it was
liked
good. I actually did like the match a lot.
I liked it.
They only had, excuse me, I need to go back for a second. Jey Uso and Gunther competed. Official match time, 16 minutes. New Day and Xavier Woods and, New Day and the War Raiders, they were only out there for 9 minutes. 9 minutes, 15 seconds, official wrestling time. And
It felt a little longer than that.
I know,
Okay.
they made the most of their time. I didn't have a problem with it. I thought it was a pretty good match.
War Raiders are good. Like, they really, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the big guy that can do back handsprings into the rope. And like, not that it's, I think I go the other way with it. Like, I don't want to speak for people, but my thought is that people see that and go, wow, that's really good. He's so big, he shouldn't be able to do that. That's impressive, and that is impressive. But for some reason, with me, it like doesn't connect. It's like, it is impressive. I don't want to take it away from it. It's good, but it's like I'm not a big fan of the way that it looks.
Yeah.
But they are very agile for as big as they are, which is really impressive. It was a good match.
The problem with doing all those things with that body type is instead of looking cool and crisp like a lightweight who does it, he looks like the drunk uncle at the barbecue that told his wife to hold his beer. Watch this, and then he just like did a bunch of cool shit, and he executes it well. The splash into the LED screen, like you said, the handspring off the rope. They did a really cool double team as well. The War Raiders were Ray, like I said Ray because that's his fucking name. Okay, but it was trying to remember if he's Ivar. I think he's Ivar, the bald headed one. He just starts screaming his fucking head off. I was like, whoa, hey, you're in control of this match. You're winning, bro. Okay. Stay focused, brother. This is WrestleMania. Relax. It's okay. Yeah, so I thought it was a pretty cool match. I not in love with the finish. I know that we talked on the roundtable about some Big E stuff, but at the same time, I didn't just pick the War Raiders because I thought they would be tomfoolery. I genuinely thought that it would just be a cool moment to have the War Raiders have that moment, considering, like you just said, they're trying to really put attention onto the tag team division, and this is a really, really good tag team for them. And I think you give them more credibility when you have a big win like that at WrestleMania. New Day is a team that didn't really need to win at Mania. If anything, we had a tag team title match on Raw that if you would have fucking reversed this, would have actually made more sense. I'll get to that later when we talk about Raw. Yeah, so the New Day are the new World Tag Team Champions. Our next match, one-on-one, Jade Cargill defeating Naomi, 9 minutes, 20 seconds. And boy, oh boy, the internet was buzzing, the internet was talking.
What were they saying? I need to know.
It's kind of half and half.
You're gonna. That's gonna be the reoccurring theme here. I want to know what the people are saying before we get into what the fuck we said. Because I need to know.
Yeah, it's kind of in this. I guess in this scenario, you need to know. But yes, it seems split. There were a lot of people like myself who felt, man, that was a really good match between these two individuals, considering who we're talking about. Right? Mm-hmm. So forever, everyone was shitting on Jade because the work just wasn't there. Naomi's kind of been a controversial figure when it comes to stuff like that, where it's like, yeah, she looks good and she does these flashy things, but she's not much of a worker. She's not much of a wrestler. But I got to give both women credit for this match. I actually thought this match was really, really good. Again, really, really good in context of what we're talking about. Like, this is between two. This isn't Angle and Benoit, right? This isn't going to be played at any wrestling schools anytime soon. But as far as it being a WrestleMania match with a grudge, a bad blood situation, I'm glad somebody at WWE was listening to our podcast and gave Jade the line that I had used, which was basically, "Bitch, you tried to kill me." I was like, I think that's pretty important to the story. That she committed attempted murder. It wasn't like a jump from behind or a clothesline, or she tried to, she put her into the shower and took a belt to her. No, she threw her off of a fucking ledge onto the windshield of a fucking vehicle. She tried to murder her. So, yeah, this is a grudge match, I would assume. So, yeah, I thought it was a pretty good match. You stated within my home that you thought it was a pretty good match, but what were some of the standout moments for you?
There weren't, at least from my memory, there weren't a lot of botches. Like I said, it was very important.
The fact that match. I can't remember any is important.
There were not a lot. I forget which one you made mention to, which match it was, but you were saying that this was just gonna kind of like be just like a very safe but good wrestling match, and I feel like all the
LA Knight and Jacob Fatu.
Yes.
Where I was like, it's going to be a classic wrestling match.
And I know the wrestling here isn't top tier wrestling, but that's not what I was looking for in this match. I was looking for a story being told, which is what happened, and I wanted to see Jade perform by herself. This is why I was really hoping, and this is going to be a thing that I called out while we were there, is that one of my favorite things is a lot of the anticipation was most of these matches had some type of interruption going on, which did not happen, which is a good thing because we were able to just see a clean match. They didn't have to rely on support of somebody else taking the light off of them. I feel like they executed well. I feel like this is some of the best showing that we've seen of Jade, and if she just continues to do this and develop, she's got it. I mean, honestly, aside from her figure, because obviously she's jacked to the gills, she knows she's definitely has the look. It really takes a special eye to see that Jade can do it, because she requires a lot of work. They've been pouring into her. So to see her have a relatively clean match that she looked good in, that's what was most important to me here. I didn't give a shit that this was a 5-star match. I just wanted it to be clean, and I wanted them both to come out looking good, and I think that's what happened.
Agreed on my end. I thought that's exactly what they were trying to get in there to accomplish. I also give them credit because of both of their reputations of being people that sometimes botch, that sometimes make mistakes. The fact that they didn't play it safe. They were doing corner moves, top rope moves. That spinning power bomb that we saw was a dope timing situation for them. So it wasn't like they played it paint by numbers. They went for it and prayed for the best, and I think what they ended up getting was something that they should be proud of. And Naomi tweeted Bianca Belair after the match. She said, "I know you got it because the status says delivered." I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, the match delivered." How about that? So yeah, that's that. And our next match for the United States Championship. Jacob Fatu defeated LA Knight for the United States Championship. This motherfucker, LA Knight, just that title belt is the kiss of fucking death for him. Every time he gets near that fucking belt, something bad happens to him every fucking time. I don't know.
He can't catch a break.
He can't. He every time he starts to pick up a little fucking speed, someone comes along and just goes right by him. It's always some other opportunity. It's always somebody else who's going to get the chance. It's always somebody else with the push. I give LA Knight a lot of credit for not letting this shit get to him. Business is business, and he's going to keep pushing. But, man, it's got to start getting a little fucking frustrating that,
especially when you were so hot at one point that you got put in front of Roman.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's just been straight down. And I don't remember, did he do bad?
I didn't think so. The Money in the Bank match between LA Knight and Roman Reigns, no, I honestly didn't think it was all that bad of a match. But I'm
so confused.
They must know something. I don't know. They must know something that I don't, because I don't understand why this. Because you think for a second, okay, they must be mad at him, right? Or he did something, or he said something, but then they do things.
He's just not hot enough. That's it.
Oh, well,
too many hot people right now.
I was just gonna say that because, if it's a case of, they don't like him, or he did something that they don't like, but they keep giving him opportunity. He came in. Excuse me. He came into this match, the champion. So it's like they give him opportunity.
Yeah, but there's a such thing as having something to feed it. Like Fatu in LA Knight is much better than Fatu in Shinsuke. I'm sorry.
Yes, absolutely.
That just makes more sense to me.
Yeah, absolutely makes a ton of sense. Well, it's a better matchup. It's a better story.
Right. So him going in. My point is him going in as the champ. I don't know. I don't see that really kind of. They can still have some with him, but I don't see why. Does he have heat in the back or something?
He pissed on somebody's He pissed in somebody's teacup. I don't know. You get the feeling, because it's not an isolated incident. This has been going on, I think, pretty much since he originally got over. Right? I mean, he had that initial rise. And then for whatever fucking reason, every time they put him up, he comes right back down, and then they put him up, and then he comes right back down. And I don't want to hear they got plans for him in 2025, because that was the point of the win last year, right? LA Knight beats AJ Styles at WrestleMania. Okay, this is the start of a push. This is the start right here. We're going to start building, and then nothing. He's got Carmelo Hayes. He's got Shinsuke Nakamura. He's got all these lower tier dudes, and it's like there's no juice to any of it. LA Knight is his strong suit. He's not a terrible wrestler, but his strong suit is his verbal ability. He can tell.
Well,
he can
to
tell
be fair, I think you may have just figured it out. Because it's not like okay, we may not hold all of those people in the highest regard, but I wouldn't say they're low tier
No, they're talented
wrestlers.
guys. Yeah.
And you're a mid card champion, so it's kind of your job to make those things good.
Yes.
And if you're not putting over those people, you're kind of not doing your job. Maybe, I don't know. I guess I don't know how to.
I see what you're saying.
judge
You're
his
saying
run.
that because they put him in that position and he wasn't able to get the talent around him over or better or to pop off of feuding with him, that we can't move him up because it might actually damage the headlining
He's
talent.
not performing.
Well, he's not getting
Like,
results.
I
I
can't
can't say
elevate you if
he's
you're
not
not
performing. He's not getting the results they want him to get.
Well, that's you're saying the same thing in a different way.
Well,
He's
no,
not
you could
performing.
you could perform your ass off and not get, and the audience just isn't doing it.
Yeah, you're not performing exactly.
What
what you're trying to say is you can work hard and still fail.
Yes,
but not living up to the expectation.
Yeah, I think that.
I think that's what
it hurts. Yeah, I think that's what it hurts the most is that they do have high expectation for him, and it just never seems to get there for him.
Yeah, because I remember saying that a lot. Like, man, if he just had that person next to him, like I always say, he always seems like he has weird opponents. Like he doesn't really have that big person that he's going up against. But I don't know. At mid card, you're kind of supposed to be the top dog. When you're in the highest level, like the title, you can be on the chase, kind of. But you can be on the chase.
You know what?
As a mid-card champion,
as a comparison, the other mid-card champion, Braun Breaker, he's having some fucking crazy matches.
He was having amazing. And look,
yeah.
I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but yeah, actually, you saying that completely proves my point.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's why I mentioned it, because if you look at the other side of the aisle, it didn't matter who you put in the ring with Braun, that match is anticipated. People want to see that match, and yep. Look what happened, and
we'll get there.
We'll get there. Well, next up is our lucha match, as El Grande Americano makes his debut at WrestleMania against the other Rey, not Mysterio, but Phoenix. And it's so. This gimmick is amazing for so many fucking reasons. I know people are gonna sit there and because this is again ear to the ground, right? Why can't they treat Chad Gable right, man? Why can't they? But you know what though? Chad is so fucking creative, man. He's so fucking creative, and I think the WWE knows that. I think they know that. He could fucking get in there with anybody. I don't think the in-ring is the issue. And kudos, by the way, to Rey Fenix, who jumped into this situation like a madman. And he was... I know it doesn't sound like it. People are going to say, hey, man, it's WrestleMania. You got a shot to be on the card. You take it. But that's risky, man. Because if he goes out there and shits the bed... they're going to go, oh, Jesus, we got to work on this guy. That's it. Off to NXT you go, buddy. Performance Center time. Let's figure this out. But he didn't. He was out there and he was Rey Fenix.
No. I would go out on a limb and say he was a refined Rey Fenix, because Rey can be kind of fucking crazy.
Yeah, they both are. You can't sense the difference in both of them?
And
they wrestling different.
Yes, but that was my comment about Penta when he first came out. I'm like, damn, it's like the dude's been here forever. He knows how to slow down, but still make it look really good. He's still Penta, but he's slowing it down a little bit. Yeah. And you can tell, and they're being safer and stuff like that. When Rey got in there and worked, I'm like, dude, he's so safe right now. But this is Rey. This is it was so good. And it was
Rey was the more chaotic of the
heels. Yeah, and off the heels of the announcement with AAA, this was all starting to make sense with I remember originally when they did I forget who I was watching it, but when he said that his biggest weakness was lucha, and we're just like, where the fuck did that come from? Like, you never once ever said anything about lucha ever, from what I remember. And now all of a sudden it's your kryptonite. It doesn't make sense. It all makes sense now. He was the guy chosen to help drive this or be the forefront of it, and I fucking love it.
Yeah,
I love it. I'm glad. I don't care. It didn't make sense. This is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it didn't. The lucha thing just kind of, what was it? The Rumble, I think it was, like around that time. Just out of nowhere, all of a sudden he has this.
He wanted to disappear and train.
Yeah, all of a sudden he's got this blood feud with fucking luchadors out of seemingly nowhere. I think that should be. I think that should be everyone's indication as to when those talks with AAA really began.
And the fact that he was chosen to do it,
because he
made
can
me
do it.
even more excited about it.
He's the perfect guy because he can help with the talent, he can wrestle the style, and he can cut the promo and play the gimmick and add actual entertainment to the lucha side when it comes to American audiences. If you're going to leave, I know that they're going to do AAA in Los Angeles, which makes sense, but I'm pretty sure AAA is not going to stay in the States. It's going to go back to Mexico at some point. And AAA has that market already pretty much sewn up. You don't have to do much from that. But if you're just going to do pure 100% lucha in Mexico, that'll work. You can't do pure 100% fucking lucha in the States. So many people have tried. It does not work like that. You gotta have a little something different, and that's where Chad comes in. So I think it's good. It's just enough to add a layer, a little bit of flavor to it that the American audiences can chomp on, but you gotta keep it AAA. You can't change that formula. And a little Vikingo action, by the way, in that matchup. A little stiff kick from the outside, not bad. This WWE universe has no fucking clue. I mean, you guys think Penta and Ray are something special. Holy shit. Vikingo is a fucking madman. That mother.
Was he like just a loyalist or something?
He's a what now?
Is he like just a loyalist or something?
Like
if he's that good, how come he hasn't?
He's been doing AEW for forever. And the fact that's why I laughed when I saw him on the panel for AAA, because AEW is a guest spot. He's never been signed by AEW. He really is a Mexican wrestling superstar. But when I saw him on that stage next to Triple H and Rey Mysterio and all this stuff, I was like, whoa. It's a big moment for him, and I know he was fucking juiced for it. By the way, we didn't touch much on that, and that's because I'm actually still waiting for some more of the information about that. I think in 2 weeks when we come back, we'll have a little bit more specifics on how this dynamic is going to work. So we'll stay with the WrestleMania stuff now, but I don't think that I'm sleeping on the AAA deal. I want to learn more about that. But yeah, this was a really good match. El Grande Americano with the victory, 7 minutes, 55 seconds. That's all it needed to be. Didn't need any more than that. And then we get to our next match, which is the WWE Women's Championship match. Tiffany Stratton defending the championship against Charlotte Flair. And I made mention earlier. I said, hey, this show was the vibe of the show. A lot of people that I personally had spoken to, they kept saying it's a solid show. It's not crazy, but it doesn't really suck. It's just a kind of a solid show. And then we got to this match. And the whole vibe of our party went into the fucking ground when this fucking match took place. We had guests.
People got to know each other a little bit.
Oh, yeah. The bonding.
Yeah. I was able to take a beer shit, so that worked too.
We had people at our house who very rarely, if ever, watch wrestling, that were having a pretty decent time.
They were into it.
Yeah, watching the matches. And then this son of a bitch came on the TV. And even they were like, how long has this match been out here? What is happening right now?
Get this shit off my screen.
And, get this shit. Burn this television. What's happening? This match was 19 19 minutes and 5 seconds, and I call bullshit because I think it's been misplaced. I think the colon is in the wrong spot. I think they meant 19 days. 19 days, and I think that's 5 hours as the extra. Because this fucking match went off the rails quick, fast, and in a fucking hurry. I don't think anybody in this match wanted to be in this match. I don't know what the fuck happened. There was no chemistry here. And when Charlotte panics, baby, she panics. And she starts overcompensating, and she's doing this, and she's doing that, and she
seemed fucking pissed.
Yes, she said "fuck" quite a few times in that matchup, and I don't fucking blame her because when the situation took place that made her say "fuck," I also said "fuck." I can't believe that this is fucking happening the way it's happening. And then Tiffany's bleeding out of her fucking mouth. And it's as if this was a fucking car wreck. Top to bottom. And I wish I could say, hey, Charlotte's going into business for herself. Hey, Charlotte was trying to show up.
You want to put the blame on Charlotte so bad.
You want to put the blame on Charlotte so goddamn bad. And Charlotte will have to hold.
To feel for her.
Charlotte kind of has to hold some of the blame. When you have two people who are in there and it just looks like a fucking clusterfuck. No one's innocent. But we learned something today. Tiff ain't ready. That's what we learned.
Excuse me. Hold on. Who learned something?
I learned something.
Don't fucking say we. That was my take. They exposed. I don't know if this is a hot take. Maybe not at this moment.
But not now. It's pretty obvious now.
She should have never won Money in the Bank. That should not have been the angle for her.
Well,
now,
hold
could
on.
she have got to a title match maybe anyway? Maybe. But putting the belt on her was a bad decision. She was not ready for that. And the moment she got it, and the moment the light was directly on her, not her on the side behind someone else, pointed at her, her mic work went straight to shit, and it never got better up until right now. Still, not better.
I hold your horses here. I never said winning Money in the Bank and winning the title not ready. I didn't say that. I got you. Okay, I got you. Because here's the thing: without the experience of doing it, you know what I mean? Then we don't really know. I understood the thought process of the experiment. When I say not ready, I mean this stage right here. She wasn't ready for it. Now, based on what I saw, she has a good chance of getting ready for it. She's not talentless. It's there somewhere. But this wasn't the match. This was not it. This was not the matchup. This was not the storyline. This was not the nothing. Nothing about this match helped either one. I think they're both talented. I think they're both great at what they do. They just don't need to be doing shit together.
I argue that. After her last performance, I argue that comment. Before, I would have given you great. I still disagree with you. I don't think Tiffany is that good in the ring. I don't. Don't get me wrong. She's athletic and she can do cool things. But what's the difference between her and Ricochet? Ricochet can do cool things too.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean he's a top tier talent. I honestly, if we go back and watch some of her matches, I do not think she's as good as people say she is. She's just athletic, and her mic work is terrible. She wasn't ready for this. I will stand. I see your point. I agree with you if that's the path we have to take, that she should have lost. She should have never won the belt, even if she had the Money in the Bank. But I will stand on, I don't think she should have won it. Okay. I think that opportunity could have been to somebody else to fail rather than her. She's someone right now is getting pushed too fast in a world where people are earning their stripes. There are quite a few people who got their head down and they're fucking grinding, and we'll talk about that person later. As an example of you don't need to be pushed that hard when you very well could.
That's the thing. I'm kind of in the middle.
They exposed her.
This
run is
there's no argument against her being exposed here. Whether you want to put the blame on Charlotte or Tiff, it doesn't really matter. She wasn't ready for the spot. She wasn't ready for the spot. Not here, not on this stage. It wasn't ready yet. And nope. You said it yourself that maybe that was somebody else's run to fail with, maybe. But we live and we learn from it. Yeah, we're here now, and we're gonna see where we're going. Now here's another litmus test. I told my wife this when we were watching Night 2, and that match kind of came up on a graphic, and my wife was like, "God damn, that match was bad." I said, "But you know what? But you know what though? Let's see if she rallies, right? Let's see if maybe she walked away from that match and went, "Fuck, that's bad. I can't do that again." Let's do the Jamie Foxx. Let's just let's just see what the kid's got. let's see if she can go to the drawing board, pull up the YouTube video, get the notepad out, and just go, "What the fuck happened here?" And let's never do that shit again. Whatever that was.
We're here now, and let's hope she can. I don't dislike her. I think I like her. I love the gimmick and everything, but it's not flushed out.
Well, Brandon, the authentic Brandon Lewis, his real big issue with the whole situation, and maybe that's the valid point. Apparently, he felt, and I don't disagree because I remember her from the NXT days as well. Babyface is not her thing. She needs to be a shit-talking, arrogant piece of shit heel. That's what got her over in the first place. When she was the NXT Women's Champion, she was not a babyface. She was a down low and dirty heel. Maybe she was miscast in this situation. We don't know, because doing it in NXT is different than doing it on the main roster. Doing it in the closet is not the same as doing it on the road. So I don't know if she's an effective heel just yet, but this is the situation she's in.
I don't know. I think she had a very good opportunity to be a douche here, especially with Charlotte. She could have got away with murder, and she didn't. Especially with Charlotte talking shit, and they're doing that was the first big one when they were doing their split screen back and forth.
Yeah. And
I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh, tear into her ass. Come on, Tiff. And she just fucking let me down. Dude. She's like, she didn't know what to say.
She didn't know what to say in response, because normally when she speaks in response, it's as a heel. She didn't know how to do it as a babyface. That's what she's learning. And she's not. She's just not ready for it yet. That's all.
Well, we have to give her grace now. So let's see what happens.
Now I want to see if she rallies. If she gets in her head and she continues to fuck up, then we got a problem. And they at least they'll know, because then she wouldn't need to be a project anymore. No. We know what she can do. So we'll put her back on the opening card, wrestling Dakota Kai for no reason. So far, 6 matches for night 1. Right. Solid, nothing really crazy going on, and you start to see the messages, right? You start to see the for me anyway, you start to see the messages, you start to see the statuses, right? How many celebrities so far? None. They do some shots in the crowd, right? You do some shots in the crowd. There's no celebrities, no legends, right? We haven't done anything with the legends. Nothing has happened with that. It's all been current talent having the best
roster.
God
God forbid.
have. Yeah, I know, their own roster. Nothing going on, and I could hear it in my head, like a repeating unloop nails on a chalkboard, of how many WrestleManias I heard. Oh, why is this celebrity here? He's taking up an opportunity from someone from the roster. Why is this legend here? He's taking an opportunity from the roster. And now it's all roster, and I'm hearing, where are the celebrities? Where are the legends? Right? Where this doesn't feel like a Mania. Right? We had how many opening matches? I did the research. We had a bunch of ladder matches that used to open the shows. Money in the Banks, Intercontinental title ladder matches. right? I mean, it's WrestleMania. It's not Ladder Mania. Wrestle. Why aren't we wrestling? Now we get to 41. Where's the ladder match? Where's the furniture? I don't see tables, chairs, nothing. I'm seeing suplexes and headlocks. What the fuck's happening? Boring. That was up until this point.
Mm-hmm.
But as Tiffany and Charlotte did their damnedest to burn this WrestleMania down to the ground, out through the ashes rose a glimmering phoenix of three individuals who were dead set on proving to the world what a main event at WrestleMania should fucking look like. Because we head over to the main event of night one with Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk with Paul Heyman in his corner. This match was 32 minutes, 55 seconds of pure, unadulterated fucking awesomeness. This was the match. I tried to say it on the round table. This is my main event right here. This was my main event. I cared more, and again, it's a personal choice. I cared more about this match than I cared about Cody and John. And boy, we need to get Ace back on here. I need him to explain that last one to me. We'll get to that one in a fucking second. But this triple threat match to me, it was my main event. I felt strongly about it. And let's start at the beginning here, because even in the entrances, this felt big fucking time. Seth Rollins coming out dressed completely in hefty. Completely, it wasn't Calvin Klein. It wasn't Hugo Boss. It wasn't any of these new fancy schmancy designers. Pure hefty. Came out in the plastic bag, the classic look, right? And we're thinking, oh, man, the pageantry. Here it is. This is what people at WrestleMania who have been complaining about the lack of pomp and circumstances. It was almost like they rang a bell, and out came Seth Rollins in pure black hefty. And then he comes out with a blowtorch. Ah, he's here to light the goddamn place on fire. Here's Seth Rollins showing the world his entertainment value. And then, whoom, just like that, the lights go off. It's cinematic. Everyone's at the edge of their seat. Pins and needles even. Children stopped crying. Men stopped breathing. We're wondering what's happening. Then the lights shine bright. And there it is. As angelic as the day he was born. Seth Rollins, garnered in all white. Sparkling like Jupiter off of a telescope. He's just looking phenomenal. And I know AJ's on night 2, but fuck that guy. This is phenomenal right here. And he comes down the ramp, and it's all eyes on Seth Rollins. He's got superstar tattooed on his fucking face. Look at the guy. Our Greek God, dressed in his Sunday's finest. What a superstar. And then he gets in the ring. And then the second guy comes out. And the second guy just comes out in black pants, but the slickest, just the fucking nicest, fresh pair of white J's you've ever seen in your fucking life, with the matching gauntlets, because, you know, accessories are everything at WrestleMania. No shirt, wet hair, but you know what? You know what's covering his body? Aura. He's got aura. He's
exuding.
He is glowing as if he is mid-Saiyan transformation. He just had, if you threw a quarter at him, it'd bounce off 3 feet in front of his face. It'd never get near him. It's like Independence Day when they shot those missiles the first time and it just bounced off and they panicked. That's what happens. You bounce off of Roman, he's got his own ecosystem. He's that much of a goddamn superstar. And that's just 2 guys. There's a third.
There's more.
There's more. And the package plays. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. My addiction is wrestling. And they do a whole career montage on CM Punk. And they play the old kill switch. Even through and the fuck, I don't know if you got a chance to see it, but on YouTube there was a lot of cell phone footage of people that were recording Punk's entrance. 60,000 strong. singing the old theme from way back. Aiming through the fire. Everyone's screaming at the top of their lungs. This fire burns. Oh, it was old school punk, and everyone was so fucking excited. It was crazy. And then who's standing there but one of the livest bands in history, Living Colour, for their second time at WrestleMania. I was there for the first, and by God, I was so jealous I wasn't there for the second. But they played my boy out. He comes out with the hoodie. He's amped. It's a main event. His clock was broken for some reason. He was looking at his wrist, but luckily the wise man was there. He had a working, functioning clock. There it is. And it just so happens it kept good time because even on Paul's watch, it was clobbering time. And he makes his way to the goddamn ring, and they didn't cut it short, but that Punk took so goddamn long to get down the ramp. The song ends just a little bit short, but that's fine. He gets to the turnbuckle. He's still the best in the world. We take off all our entrance gear, and oh, look at this. 3 of the best to ever do it. Get the nostalgia dick out of your mouth. This is a ring filled with 3 of the GOATs, 3 of the greatest of all time. You can make an argument for all 3 of these motherfuckers that they are hard body legends. This is a main event. Big fight feel in Las Vegas. Not since the days of Tyson and Holyfield and whatever MMA does. Because, again, I've established I'm not an MMA expert. But I'm sure Conor McGregor's wrestled. I mean, I've wrestled. I'm sure Conor McGregor has had some big bouts in Las Vegas, right? I mean, you got to put your power players in Vegas. You know, you send the B team when you're at Topeka, Kansas. You know, when you're in Des Moines, Iowa. When you're in some bullshit shantytown in West Virginia, you send the B team. When you're in a fucking Las Vegas, that's the starting squad, the starting unit. You bring out your A team. And here they were. 32 minutes, pure adrenaline all the way through. But let's talk about the part that everybody wants to talk about. The part that everyone has talked about. I made the joke with Brandon when he was in the house. As the progression of this match went forward, it almost started to feel like they were fighting over the custody of Paul Heyman. Like it was like divorcing parents squabbling in the lobby of a courthouse, and the last one to grab the child's hand and walk off will get to keep the kid. You know, and this was just, I just felt so bad for Paul. He was so sad and so solemn and so down for most of this match. So confused. He didn't know which way to go. But right before Paul plays his hand, right before we get into the actual story part of the actual match, what were your thoughts on this triple threat match? How good did you think this match was?
Well, he didn't think it was good. So no, it was a top tier match because I'm not a big fan of 3-ways, but because these guys have so much star power, it didn't even really feel like a 3-way. It just felt like 3 of the best in the ring, and they just so happened to be 3 of them fighting. You know what I mean? It's like each individual, they would split apart often, which was good. It really kind of made it feel like a one-on-one. And it's amazing to think that even after Mania, even after all this time, the heat that Roman has for Seth, it's still his kryptonite. Like, these stories are being told in this match, and it's just so good. I didn't even feel like a 3-way. I don't even want to call it that because it didn't feel like that, even though it was. Because most 3-ways are terrible. People don't share the time right. You've seen too much of one person or the other. I couldn't see enough of each one of them, and I really felt they all fucking hated each other, and they were all there for different reasons. Like, this was just a special match. Special match, and it went from a special main event to a game changer, almost literally at the end here. So there's a situation where all the guys are down, and this is Paul's WrestleMania moment. I have seen Paul at WrestleMania
for many, many, many years. And for the record, I think it's almost unsung just how important Paul Heyman has been at WrestleMania. A little known fact, because I don't have the specifics in front of me, but I thought about it when we were watching Night 2, because my wife had brought up a very good point. She goes, man, Paul Heyman was so important to that match last night, or at the very least, he was important to the finish. And I said, Paul was in the main event.
I feel like Paul Heyman was the match, which is fucking weird. It was
Yeah.
almost like a 4-way.
Paul, yeah, I know. And as a true 4-way competitor, he spent most of his time on the outside while the other guys beat the shit out of each other. But Paul Heyman has been either the main event or the manager for the champion for almost every WrestleMania practically since 29. He was in this main event. He was in the main event of 40. He was in the main event of 39. He was in the main event of 38. He was in the main event of 37. That's 37, 38, 39, 40, 41. And he did 2 main events at 40, so that's 6. Paul Heyman has been in 6 straight main events. And then before that, at 36, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he was with Lesnar during the pandemic. So that would be another main event. And then, 35, he was in the opening match with Lesnar, but Lesnar was the Universal Champion. And then 34 was a main event. That was with Roman. 33 was not a main event. It was with Goldberg, but it was the title match. 32 was Dean Ambrose, somewhere in the middle, not a championship match. So that's the one break in the whole thing. But 31, main event with Brock Lesnar for the title against Roman. 30, he was not in the title match, but he managed Brock Lesnar when he wrestled Taker for the streak and broke it. 29 was not a championship match, but it was the semi-main with Triple H. So it was on just before the last match. Paul Heyman is an institution at WrestleMania. And here we go again. It's 41, and we're still talking about Paul's fucking involvement in the fucking main event. Mm-hmm. And so Paul grabs a steel chair on the far end of the ring across from Paul, on far end, so he's on the opposite side, is Seth Rollins, who's got his back turned, by the way, to Paul Heyman, which was beautiful. Punk's in one corner, Roman's in the other, and they're both staring at Paul while Paul holds the chair. And I think you said it on the podcast, and you've said it to me personally, Paul has an attention to detail that is absolutely out of this world and amazing. And it came through here because he is emotional. He is a wreck. He is beside himself. He doesn't know what to do. And then all of a sudden, he decides and he slides the chair to Punk. And Punk giggles to himself. Oh, yeah, that's a good friend of yours. Punk rises to his feet like he's going to slam home a home run using Roman Reigns' head. I got ahead of myself in that sentence. And he raises the chair up only for Paul to hit this man in the twig and berries. Bam. He goes down. Testicles intact? Who knows? TBD. But for right now, he be down. He is on the ground, and Roman is smiling, and Paul is in the ring screaming his fucking head off. You did this to me. You made me choose. Why would you make me choose? He's my tribal chief. He is my tribal chief. I acknowledge you, my tribal chief. And he is, I've never seen a grown man suck a dick that fast in my entire life. But here he is, filleting Roman amongst the thousands in attendance. The ultimate fellatio show. And Roman gets the steel chair, and he proceeds to wear that ass out. He puts steel to CM Punk, busts him up real good, and then Paul brings it to Roman's attention. Hey, look over here. And it's a downed Seth Rollins while Roman's holding the chair. Perfect imagery. Finally, the revenge that I've always wanted. Here he comes to his feet. And as Seth comes to his feet, Paul Heyman hits Roman Reigns in the bloodline. Straight at the core. Straight in the heart of it. Right, and not in his chest, folks. Right in the groin. Right in the MacGuffin. He hit him in the Blackberry and boots. Right there. Kapow. He's down. And he's got that face. Roman is the only person I've ever seen to sell a ball shot with shock instead of pain, and it still makes sense. It's weird the way his face does that. He's not in pain. He's shocked. Did I just get hit in the balls? Almost British like.
The gall.
Yeah, the gall. The audacity outweighed the pain. I'm going to feel it tomorrow, but right now I am totally disgusted by your actions. That was his facial expression. And he goes down, and Rollins still hasn't turned around. He has got his back toward the action, and all of a sudden Seth raises his hand up a little bit. Paul walks over, hands him the steel chair, and Seth goes to work. And now we have ourselves a situation. Seth Rollins wins the triple threat match, but he's won so much more. He walks away not just with a victory in the main event, not just wins a match that all of them claimed would shape the future of WWE. But Seth walks away with Roman's wise man and CM Punk's best friend. This was the ultimate win for the architect, for the revolutionary, Seth Rollins. So this is the part now where we discuss the ideology of a game-changing situation. Because when this match was over, it was just that. It was over. Show was over. It was the main event. Nothing came on after this. So we're all left to speculate, how is this going to work? How is this going to look, right? I mean, are they going to be together for real, or is it just a situational thing? And then we get to night 2, which we'll begin talking about in just a second. But Paul Heyman starts going the fuck off. Somebody had tweeted something that he had said to a fan, and they were like, yo, who unlocked ECW Paul Heyman? Because he's just out here fucking, he's cussing people out. Some Mexican dude was saying something to him.
I was gonna say, didn't he say something about getting deported?
Yeah, he said you're the fucking guy. He said you're the guy who's talking all that shit right now. The guy who's gonna get deported, and everyone you oohed. Because I guess the guy was saying something about him sucking dick. He was like, yeah, you suck dick. Oh, well, no. And then Paul Heyman goes, if I'm out here sucking dick, I can assure you it's your mother that taught me how. And then it was which is an old joke, and I never understood that. Yeah, I never understood that joke. I mean, his mother taught you how?
You're thinking too literal. Your mom sucking dick. That's all you need to. That's all you need to focus on.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's an admittance, is it not? You're saying that you do suck dick. You just, and not only do you suck dick, but apparently you had proper training. Like you were under the learning tree. You took your time. You went to, who's the dude who trained Goku? I forgot his name. You went to that guy. And it's just like, all right. I don't think you should be saying that out loud. But yes.
Don't tell people that.
Yeah. Your mother taught me how. Well, my mom is a woman. Women suck dick. What are you out here sucking dick for? What the fuck's going on over here? And how come she didn't tell me she was taking students? Where did you take the time to learn this? It better not have been during my study period. I knew those sounds were coming from somewhere. Anyway, yes, so the triple threat match takes place. And there's your main event for WrestleMania. Where we move forward from here will be nothing else but a flaming ball of whatever we come up with. But so far, night 1 is what that is, right? I think a lot of people walked away with that saying, all right, at the very least, it's a solid show so far. Nothing really spectacular taking place. Nothing really happening here that'll be all that crazy. Couple of low expectations rising to the occasion. Couple of situations where maybe too high of an expectation. But that takes us now to night 2. Night 2 opens the way that night 1 closes. Night 1 closed with a fire triple threat match. So night 2 opened with a fire fucking triple threat match. Or at least in my opinion. I'm speaking for me when I say I loved this fucking match. I don't give a shit what Kevin Nash has to say about it. I don't fucking care. Okay.
Wait, what's happening?
Oh yeah. You didn't know? You better call somebody. No, it's Kevin Nash, and if he's not the only one, but he's the one that I think got the ball rolling on this. The criticism to the triple threat women's match is the fact that people are up in arms about the fact that, the problem that everyone has with the match is Io Sky, right? She's small. She's diminutive. The fact that Rhea and Bianca have to sell her offense is disrespectful. Why are they making these women go through this? And if you want to stick under the idea that she's a small person, okay, fine. But you can't. That's a subjective take on the performer. Give me your fucking opinion on the fucking performance, because I didn't have a single. Did you have any issues with this match at all whatsoever, or did you have some issues with it as well?
My issue is that Io won.
Aha!
But if we're not talking about the performer, I'm talking about the performance. It was Io being Io.
Yeah.
I think Io wrestles better than those two, in my opinion. As far as the better wrestler, I think I don't think it's her, but I think she performs the best when it comes to like move for move.
Yeah.
She's the best. But my problem is everything else outside of that.
Right.
That's my problem with Io. I love seeing Io matches. I do not like her as a champion. I stand on my point that she's the worst to hold the belt and will be the worst champion. I'm already disliking her with the belt, and once it's off her, I'll get to enjoy her matches again. But for now, but the match itself was great. I actually liked it. I didn't want a 3-way, but if this is what I have to have, I like what we got.
It's so funny because for as much as I enjoyed the actual 3-way, and I did, I even took time out of my fucking evening to make a status about it. I was just like, I'll give it to the ladies. That was pretty fucking good. As much as I enjoyed the match, gun to my head, hey, now that you know what the triple threat match looks like, would you rather have that, or you still want Rhea Bianca? I still want Rhea Bianca.
I was going to say, I hope that's not a legit question.
Yeah, I still want, because I actually think as good as Io is, and she's great, that match to me is still fucking money, and I can't fucking wait to see it. And now that I know that they've been teasing it, it's going to fucking happen. It's just a matter of when. It's just a matter of when. When can we make this fucking happen? But it was a really, really good fucking match. And if the Evolution thing really does pan out, then there you go. That's her fucking main event right there. Rhea Ripley, Bianca, title or no title. That's too big of a fucking match to not have last on the fucking card. No two women, no group of women that you have on the roster will be able to outdo Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair on the highest stage. There isn't any. And I think that's one of the reasons why they haven't paired them up in the past. It's too high a bar. You got to cancel the division right after that match happens.
Yeah, that's a cash out.
Yeah,
sure.
that's that cash out. Exactly.
I am happy. I will say that I am happy that Rhea was the one that took the whip. That was awesome. I was waiting for it. And when it happened, when she grabbed her hair, I was like, oh, here it fucking comes. Did she put an image up on
No, because it's not a fucking mark. But whatchamacallit?
It should be. That's what I wait.
She has a lot of pictures of her midsection on her social media as it is. So she's not going to put one that's desecrated.
No, we can use no. Don't listen. Don't discourage her.
My wife was actually stunned.
Excellent marketing.
There you go. Steph was actually surprised she's the one that took it, because we knew it was coming. But I think we all in my house, I'm talking about me and Steph, I think we all just assumed it would be Io. I didn't think Rhea would, and then Rhea took it like a fucking champion. We were like, oh my god, look at you, girl. Okay, all right. That's like a rite of passage getting hit with that fucking whip, dude.
No. It would have been even better if it was just those two in a match.
Yes,
and then it happened. But
and the whip would have meant more.
Yeah.
Good.
I digress.
Well, I digress. Yes. Well, the next matchup, match number 2 on the card, the Sin City Street Fight between Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. Now, full disclosure, I'm going to go ahead and pull the curtain back just a wee little bit. We had a little bit of a situation at the house. There was a computer issue with my son, and I said, you know what? Let me come help you real quick, and I'll come back and I'll catch the match. And I did not catch it. This didn't get rectified. As a matter of fact, it started cutting into the four-way. I was getting pissed. But I didn't see this match, so you're going to have to help me out with this one. 13 minutes, 55 seconds. What did we do here? What did I miss?
I don't think it was nearly as bad as
You had assumed it would be?
as we thought it was. I didn't want it to be bad. I like both of these guys,
Yes.
but I have admitted that their chemistry isn't the best. So it honestly wasn't that bad. It wasn't spectacular, but it wasn't that bad. They had just a relatively decent match. It went when it went. It ended again. There's really not much to say about it outside of the fact that it was decent. And that was it. I think we got away with it not being terrible.
Okay.
And then I think we should just take that and move on. But I don't, and I love both of these dudes. I don't want to see these two together for a little while. Not until something else. Maybe they come back and we get a different chemistry. But Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest just don't work together. That's it. That's all I can really say about it. They both did their thing that they
We
do.
said that before this match, so yeah. We
Honestly, that
yeah.
was it. I'm actually kind of glad you didn't see it because at least I could tell people that it was decent, and you can't eviscerate the match because you see shit that I don't. So,
well, I
leave it at that.
Okay, fair enough. So that was it. Your boys get away with one from me on this one. So how about that?
Yeah. Well, if you ever run into the match again,
I'm going to watch the match. Yes, I am.
I know you
to
are,
watch the match.
and I honestly will say you obviously are not going to be a fan of it, but I think at some point you're going to just be like, okay, I still don't give a shit about this match, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Fair enough. I'll be into it then, because like I said before, I have low expectations. So if it wasn't if it wasn't bad, then it's gonna be. I'll probably think it's better than my expectations were for it. So we'll do that.
There you go.
Another match that I had low expectations for, but this time it exceeded it in a tremendous way. The Fatal 4-Way for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. And I know people are going to say, well, you were excited about the finish. I was, but I actually thought this was an actual good 4-way too. I actually didn't have much of a problem with this 4-way. But the only problem I have with the 4-way is that while I enjoyed the actual 4-way aspect of it, it still has the same problems that a lot of 4-ways or multi-man matches have, is that good or bad, it's going to feature a few. There's no way to feature them all. So if you have the 4-way, if I spoke to somebody who just watched that match, they'll probably be able to tell me something that Braun did. They'll probably be able to tell me something that Dom did, maybe something that Penta did. What the fuck did Finn Balor do in this match? I forgot on several occasions he was in it. As I was watching it.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if I don't know if I said it, but I'm to be honest, I've been off Ben Fowler. Oh my god, Finn Balor. Just disrespecting him. I've been off him, but he's not.
What better way to show you've been off
anything.
of him than doing that?
I honestly feel like they were supposed to pass the torch to Finn, and Finn was supposed to continue this in whatever way that he does, and I'm just not buying anything that he's doing. I hate this whole weird ass. I don't know if this is his personality, but I fucking hate this whole weird hip hop white black dude vibe I get from him. I just fucking hate it. I hate everything he's doing. All of it.
I don't like any of it.
None of it.
He's such an amazing worker, man. He's the
He's not
opposite.
showing it.
He's the opposite problem when it comes to performing in that ring or performing in the WWE. Inside the ring, it's all there. It's the stuff. It's the stuff outside of it. Unfortunately, when you look at Finn Balor, the same question for it's the same question. It's like, okay, he like you mentioned earlier, like Ricochet could do all these cool things. Does that make him like a great whatever? It's the same thing here. He does all these cool things, and back in the day, there was a cool factor there. There was. He was like the Fonz, bro. He had that jacket going, and he's the dude. He had some juice there for a minute, man. But there's nothing. There's nothing really there. It's just, I don't know. There's nothing really that grabs a ton of people, man. I'm not saying that he's not over, and I'm not saying he doesn't get a response, but to get to the next level, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. I'm with you on the fact that if they were gonna pull the trigger, it should have been a while ago. He's the fourth guy in the Intercontinental title match at WrestleMania. So I mean, there are a lot of guys in the industry that would kill to be in that position. He's the type of person that should have been above that position a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't
Multiple time championship winners, isn't he?
Twice
at least, if I'm not mistaken.
One Universal Championship, 2 NXT title runs. He's had the Intercontinental title, tag team titles. He's got his fair share of wins, but
he has a resume.
He has a resume. Yeah, he's not. Excuse me. He's not nobody from nowhere. I'm not trying to paint that picture, but fuck, like this guy should have. I don't know. If they were gonna do it, it should have been done a long time ago. The Bolts kind of moved on that. And, I mean, this match is evidence of that, right? Because look who Finn's in the ring with, right? Braun Breaker, the Intercontinental Champion. He's going places. He's going somewhere. Penta is a little on the older side. I don't know how far they're going to let him go. But even he's being positioned higher on the show than he is. And then there's Dom, who, if I'm not mistaken, I said on the roundtable, I said, of the 4... whilst it feels like a hot take, he does provide a lot of options for the Intercontinental title if he wins. And I picked him to win, and when he won, I was shocked. Because I was
happy for him.
I was happy. That crowd, I think, made everybody really happy
Fucking
for Don.
Exploded when he got it.
They
even he wasn't expecting it.
No one
said
was.
It on the post.
Yeah, he wasn't expecting it. I'm be honest with you. I don't think the people in the back did, because they gave him a niggy to get back into the ring, which was he's so used to being the heel, right? So he wins the match. He does hit the turnbuckle to celebrate, but then he immediately powders out. He throws the shirt at Penta. He's walking up the ramp. There's some sort of cutaway segment, and the next thing you know, he's running full speed back into the ring, and he hits the buckle again. And I think that would I'm not in the gorilla position, but if I'm a betting man, that was Triple H telling the camera guy. Yeah. Tell Dom to get back in there.
This is a moment, dude. Tell him to get the fuck in there.
That's a moment. Tell his ass to get in there. Take that moment. Go for it.
Yep.
And he went back in. And you could see it on Dom's face. That second time he hit the turnbuckle, he was ear to ear. Like, you have to dynamite that smile off his face. He was loving it. That was a moment. And I had posted on my Facebook then, I said, I think this is the moment right here where we get an idea that he's finally won their respect. You can like Dominic Mysterio, you can hate Dominic Mysterio, but I think that audience had a lot of respect for him that night.
He worked. He earned it.
He earned it.
The "You deserve it" chant, I think, fit him so well there.
Yeah, it is overplayed, but that's
good. He really
good,
did have to earn what he has, and he had to take a lot of criticism. He got shit on constantly. Like, we shit on him. We knew what he would have needed to do in order to succeed, and he did exactly that, and he fucking succeeded. So I'm fucking excited for him, man. That's awesome. And with I was a little upset that I think, what is that? A couple matches, the live matches later. I was upset with that because I'm like, oh man, like we had a chance to get that storyline with both of them being on that level, but I mean, fast forward, that kind of
don't
changed
worry,
a little bit,
they
but
fixed it.
We'll get to that. They knew.
Don't worry, they fixed it.
They knew.
So,
We'll get to that. I'll say a little more about that later, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, so we get on to our next match here. Randy Orton in the Open Challenge. And I got to tell you, I was nervous for this one. And I was like,
the best fucking match.
I was nervous for this one because I was like, Jesus, not Rusev, please. Like, I'm okay with Aleister Black. Like, there was a lot of things running through my head. I think my son goes, what if it was all a ruse? And here comes Rey Mysterio. Like, it could be anybody.
Yeah, ruse. His hope was high. Dude.
He was so devastated when he found out that fucking he wasn't going to get Rey Mysterio. But everybody was on pins and needles in my house. We were just like, oh my God, who the fuck's going to be? And then they did it. Say his name and he appears. And that fucking building went nuts. Come on.
Absolutely insane.
That
been on fucking Discord, but my ears exploded.
that fucking audience went absolutely, as the Gorilla Monsoon once said, the crowd went banana. they went nuts for Joe fucking Hendry. Now here's the thing: there's 60,000 plus, right? So it's loud, but it's so funny. Like as a person who's been watching this a long time, you could read the audience. You could look at the audience. There was 0 to 100. There were people who lost their shit, and then they were sitting next to a person who has no fucking clue what's happening. Because they don't follow TNA, and they don't fucking follow NXT or what. They're like, who the fuck is this guy? A, why the fuck is everyone going crazy? B, what the fuck is that belt around his waist? C, it's like, oh, he's the TNA champion. What the fuck is a TNA? So, like, you could just see it on their face.
He's the champion of tits and ass?
Yeah, he's like,
he walks around with a belt for
like,
that?
Jesus Christ, how do you sign up for that? I want to compete in the tits and ass division. Like, how does...
champion.
Yeah, the tits and ass world champion?
World champion.
World champion? He's checking
That's
out
crazy.
tits and ass from around the globe?
Yeah.
Wow, he must be an expert. Like, he must really know his shit. But yes, now he's going to compete against Randy Orton, who let's be honest, is no slouch in the tits and ass department. Randy Orton has slain some poon across the globe. He knows.
Fair share.
Yeah, he's left semen around the globe. He knows all about the tits and ass that this planet has to offer. Multiple generations of it. Sorry, Kim, but the man's got around. I hope you rinsed it before you put it in your mouth. But he gets around too. So Randy Orton and Joe Hendry are now a WrestleMania match. I never thought I'd see the fucking day. I really did. I never thought I'd see the fucking day. And the beautiful part, this is what made it even funnier for me, because I was having a great time with this. This match is 3 fucking minutes, right? This match in and fucking out. And I thought it was beautiful. And then here come the trolls. I'm laughing. I'm having a good time. They're having a good time. Joe Hendry and Randy Orton having a good time. Joe Hendry does the fucking pose. He gets RKO'd. Fucking Randy Orton
Cameraman hits the camera perfectly every fucking time, too.
Perfect. They had that shit mapped out perfectly. And here comes
Randy Orton doing the pose, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, doing the turn, and then with his pose, he's having a good time. He's starting to turn into, you see, he's almost becoming, I don't want to be disrespectful here, but kind of gummy, like with his mouth. Like, I'm not seeing a lot of teeth. I'm seeing a lot of grandpa gummy. You know, when you start getting old man mouth. I don't know. It's weird.
Oh, we got it.
He's starting to age up a little bit, but he's still in great shape. You've been eating good. 290, baby. John Cena said on the post show, he goes, how did Batista and Randy Orton switch bodies? What happened with that? That's a good question, John. We got to get scientists on it. The folks at Duke University are all over it. We'll figure it out. But yeah, this was a fun time. It was a 3 minutes, and here come the trolls. Oh, look what they did to the TNA World Champion. They squashed him. They beat him on the. Shut the fuck up. The TNA Champion didn't even.
Randy Orton did his pose.
Randy Orton did his
Shut
pose.
the fuck up.
He did more. Did you hear? He first of all, he accepted the match. You're welcome. Okay.
Yeah.
B, he gave the guy his full fucking entrance. You're welcome.
Yep.
Then he ended the match by coming up with a finish that included his pose. Then gave him the viral moment of reenacting the pose with his own. And then when the match was over in the back, when they were asking him, they interviewed him about the match, and he fucking put Joe and TNA over about how great he is and a great champion and all this other stuff.
You can say what you want about the RKO after raising his hand, but raising his hand in general was fucking massive.
No, see, he did an amazing job for them, I felt. And then here comes the I mean, dude, be real.
I want him to win.
Pat McAfee was reading my mind, by the way. Because Joe,
he let him get his shit off too. By the way,
he did.
He didn't just get squashed. He got like Randy was like he was doing that thing like, oh wait a minute, hold on, this guy's actually fucking wrestling, and then gets annoyed and beats his ass, which makes perfect sense. He's like, he's a joke, and then the guy's actually going. He's like, well, okay, hold on, let me be careful here because this guy might actually fucking beat me, and then he just squashes him.
And then
perfect.
He put him away. That's it.
Fucking perfect.
And Pat McAfee was reading my mind because Joe Hendry came out, and he came out with the belt. And I was like, I mean, it's an open challenge. Randy's the one really in charge of this whole situation. Could this possibly be a title match? And then Pat McAfee said the same thing. He's like, okay, so if Randy beats him, he's the TNA champion. He's like, no, the title's not on the line. And me and Steph were like, why not? Why not? Not for nothing. I'm not saying Randy Orton. I'm not saying Randy Orton wins the title. You can come up with a bullshit finish. I'm just saying the ideology of Randy Orton competing for that championship is fucking massive. And they need something like that. That's the whole point of this relationship, is to do something like that. Don't put the belt on him, but making it a title match and then having the opportunity to say this championship was defended at a WrestleMania is insane. Not just that one fact alone being insane. What made it even more insane, and this is going to be the segue into the next match. The next match is Logan Paul and AJ Styles. And I want, just for the sake of levity, just for clarity's purposes, throw a dart at any TNA fan who has ever lived from 2002 to 9. You look him right in the face. You say, gun to your head, motherfucker. You have to pick one guy. Who is the greatest TNA superstar ever? And I will bet you dollars to donuts. 9,999,999 times out of 10 million, they're going to tell you it's AJ Styles. So Randy Orton wrestled the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, and the next match is AJ Styles. And I went, oh, the total nonstop action train continues. And I was just like, and Steph said the same thing that I was thinking in my head. 2 seconds ago, we were excited about the prospect of maybe Randy competing for the title, not winning, but competing, maybe even leading toward an appearance on TNA television. And then we saw the next match and we went, fuck that. If I can't get Randy, give me fucking AJ one more time in a fucking TNA ring. That would be fucking, literally, no pun intended, phenomenal. But Logan Paul and AJ Styles, they had a match.
Yeah.
They had a match.
Can I say that entrance that Jake Paul had was fucking fire?
It was dope. That was dope. I was kind of getting motion sickness when he when he
came out, did his shit, threw the thing up in the air, and that's when I saw the seats. That was dope. He's doing his thing. Everything's going on. He gets on the buckle and it lands on his hand. I'm like, yo,
Yes.
that fucking like, whoever came up with that is a fucking genius. That was so cool.
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb and say Logan Paul had something to do with that shit as far as the concept. I don't know if he even knew if it was... Logan is the kind of person I feel like who comes up with a lot of ideas, but then he goes to people and is like, can we actually do that shit? Like, like it was an idea I had in my head, but is it like actually like plausible? Like, is it something we can actually do?
Wouldn't it be sick if I like came out in a drone, threw it in the air, and like ran all the way to the ring and caught it? It's like, well, we can't do that, but we can do this. He's like, really?
Like,
okay, yeah, let's do that.
That's a lot closer than I
do-
thought we were gonna get. Okay, cool.
I don't even think it was possible. Huh? Fuck it, let's do it.
What were your thoughts on this match? Because I remember when we talked about it on the round table, we were talking about the optimism of this match was just outright pure the athleticism between both of these dudes. But is that the match that we got?
I mean, I thought we did. I don't like your phrasing.
Yeah, because I'm trying to figure out like, did you first and foremost did you enjoy the match?
Yeah, I like Jake Paul matches, man. And I love the fucking post interview too. But anyway,
The post interview is hilarious.
The post interview was fucking amazing, but I love the match. I'm a big Jake Paul guy. I know
Jake Paul?
people hate him. What did I say?
You said Jake. You got the wrong Paul brother.
Yeah, one of them fucking brothers.
One of those Pauls. This one's Logan Paul.
There we go. Thank you. Jesus Christ. Yes.
And
Logan
I want to
Paul.
take a shot every time he says the full name of Kathy Kelly. Every fucking time. Yes, Kathy Kelly.
I'm a huge Logan Paul guy, especially when it comes to WWE specifically. I don't know too much of his outside stuff. I know people hate him. I've heard a few things. Not the nicest guy in the world, but I mean, at the end of the day, the guy's working in the ring, and every time he's been in there so far, and he talked his shit in the post and made a lot of good points. But it's crazy to me actually how people still harp on that shit. That's what's actually kind of crazy to me is that people still bring up like his past and like some of this how people just kind of hate him and stuff like that.
Well, apparently he owes people a lot of money.
I really don't understand.
Apparently he ran some sort of scam. I haven't really done the research on it, but apparently like it was like some crypto shit and it crashed on him and he owes people a bunch of money.
If you got scammed, you got scammed. He don't owe you money, you got scammed.
Well, as soon as they said crypto, I tuned out. I was like, all right, well, if your dumb ass got looped up on some fucking imaginary Monopoly money, I'm not going to fucking sit here and feel sorry for you. But, he's had some situations in the past. Both brothers have had some situations in the past where...
Absolutely.
They're
dicks. I get it.
Yeah.
But here in the ring, I like him. I fuck with him.
I fuck with him heavy. So.
They did good work here.
You did good, boy. I was a little let down by the match. A little let down. Okay. I would have liked, I don't know, there was something about the pacing of the match that kind of fell off. I'm not saying that they didn't bust it. They were doing what they had to do, but, you know, I don't know. I wasn't vibing with it, and that's weird for me because I'm a big AJ Styles guy. But I don't know. I'd like to see a rematch. I'd like to see him maybe something shorter so they can go a little faster. 17 minutes, 50 seconds. Not a crazy long amount of time, but you know, AJ's that's not TNA AJ anymore. So we gotta also have to keep that in mind when I think that. I keep sometimes, you know, thinking that it's still 09 Styles, and not the case. But we're moving forward into the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match. So up until this point, we didn't do the celebrity thing. We haven't had many legends. There hasn't really been a lot of tomfoolery. But we did have the angle night one when you were here. They took out question marks. They took out Bayley, leaving Lyra Valkyria 24 hours to find a partner. Liv and Becky make their way to the ring. No, I said that wrong. Liv and Raquel make their way to the ring. Anticipating a handicap match, Lyra Valkyria, the WWE Intercontinental Champion, or the women's Intercontinental Champion, comes to the ring in full bird garb. It's not even.
Those wings were fire.
It wasn't even subtle this time. She literally, if she would have paper mache'd a fucking beak, that was the only thing missing. It was full bird attire. She had wings that went from finger to shoulder.
They look like real wings. Those things were crazy.
There was some wing envy in the audience. They all wanted a pair of. Sell those at the shop. People will buy those. The wings, the full sleeve wings. And a lot of names coming up in people's heads. They did the hesitation thing a lot like they did with Joe Henry. My wife goes, "Who do you think is going to be?" I said, "Please just don't be a legend. That's it." I didn't want Trish or Lita or any of that stuff to happen. Well,
worse.
They got awfully close to the legend thing, and it did. And he said worse. They did a bad thing. It was Becky Lynch. She's back. And they were saying on commentary, she's been gone for over a year. It's been 1 year. She wrestled WrestleMania, and then she won the title for no reason after Rhea's injury sometime after that, and then wrestled for like a few weeks, dropped it, and fucking bounced. But she's back, and she teamed with Lyra Valkyria, and I felt bad, and I immediately thought of you because it happened again. She did it again. She just arrived out of thin fucking air, showed up to WrestleMania, and beat a motherfucker for a fucking championship again. She just, it wasn't Bianca, but she did it again, and it was so funny because I brought it up to Steph. I said, "She did it again, son of a bitch," and then my wife goes, "Yeah, but she did it to live." I said, "You know what though?
It makes me even more angry because now I have sympathy for Liv.
Exactly. Now I have to feel bad for her because you know what? It was so funny because we were talking at the round table and I was saying out loud, I'm going to go ahead and take the L because she's been doing so good, and I still don't think she's a very good wrestler, but all the other stuff that you would need to do to be a WWE superstar, she's really actually been very serviceable and doing very well. As a matter of fact, I felt based on her year, the fact that she was in the tag team title match at WrestleMania, at the very least you can do for her, she goes over. And then Becky comes back, puts the kibosh on that, and I was like, son of a bitch. I was like, I felt really fucked. You're making me feel bad for Liv Morgan, and that's not good. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be at this place. Jesus Christ. But yes, not much to discuss as far as the match itself, but Becky Lynch returns. The two Irish women win the match, which I brought up to Steph. I was like, yeah, they're both Irish, and she was like, oh, shit. Are the other two both Spanish? I was like, no, I think Liv's Italian or some shit. But Raquel's Spanish. She's Mexican. So like, oh, all right. So it's Mexico, Italy, and Ireland. It's a global matchup. Which led us into the match. The match that everyone has been declared.
Hold on, you just gonna skim. You're not even gonna let me get nothing off on that. You just gonna let her.
You want to talk?
You're gonna let her do this shit again and me not say anything?
I didn't want you to have to repeat yourself because I feel like the way that this whole thing went down, I feel like we've been here. You have something new for it? Go ahead.
All right, we need to start. Unironically, we need to start having a conversation about leaving Charlotte Flair alone, and I think Becky is 1,000 times fucking worse than Charlotte could ever be in this situation. This is unfucking believable that this is happening, and at this point, to me, her reputation is complete shit. And the fact that the WWE allows her to do this bullshit, she's not that good to have this much power. I'm sorry, she's good. But now when you got me comparing, like, all right, is it worth fucking people over who's been working all year for a big night for one person to come in and completely shit on them? I don't understand why she comes out of the blue. First of all, let's keep it real. She made the phone call and Bailey got sat. Let's just be honest. At the end of the day, Bailey got pulled, which also makes me annoyed because I was off Bailey. Now I kind of have to be back on her side. And I hope she comes back heel, and I hope she talks shit because there's no reason why they sat her. Out of all people, I should have been okay with it. But there's no reason why they sat her for this. And then to make that little side bullshit apology Triple H made at the end during the press conference, that was for Bailey. 1,000%. There's nothing in my mind that you can't convince me that wasn't apologizing to Bailey. Because the first thing he started talking about, the people that are here and, even more the people that aren't here, like they work hard all year. Yeah, dude, we know what you're saying. My brain instantly felt bad for Bailey and this bullshit that she pulled to get in this match for no reason. What? To make Lyra a double belt holder? Why? Why does she have 2 belts? I don't understand why that's on her record now. Only because they decided they wanted to put her in this match. Then you go to the post interview and she's sitting there with her child. That was annoying. No one wanted that. I don't know who that was for.
Her.
It wasn't cute. It was annoying. And then to see Lyra, she looked like she didn't want to fucking be there. Like, if there wasn't a kid sitting on her lap, I think she would have swung on her. Like, that's how fucking annoyed she looked. Only, and I know I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but I kind of want you to make this point, to drop the fucking belts.
Yeah.
To the same people.
Right back.
To turn on Lyra? Who the fuck is buying into this? I don't understand. You didn't turn. I don't get what the fuck's going on. I want to believe that Lyra went and complained, and then someone told her, and then she was like, all right, then we're going to drop the belts, and I'm going to turn on her, and I'm going to feud with her, and I'm going to kick her ass. I hope that's what happened in real time, and that, like, this wasn't the plan, because it's a stupid fucking plan. We done took the belts off of Liv, which should have been a huge fucking moment for her and Ray. That got squashed. Like, so many fucking things got destroyed because she decides she wants to come back.
But that's the thing. She doesn't decide those things. That's the problem. Because I'm sure she voices what she wants. I'm sure she does. But at the end of the day, if Triple H doesn't say, sure, let's do it, it doesn't happen. They enable this shit. They go, well, she's the veteran.
This is my first problem with Triple H. He should have said no to this. I don't know who she has a video of doing something. It's the only thing that makes sense. Someone was sucking dick somewhere, and she's got a video of it. Jeez. And she gets to do whatever the fuck she wants because of it. And it's a shame, but I really, this is my last point, is she's not that good for this level and the ability to be disrespectful to the people who work day in and day out, and she decides she wants to go in and out whenever the fuck she wants. At least Charlotte went into the Rumble. This is twice she skipped the fucking line and just did whatever the fuck she wanted to. And trust me, I'm sure the idea of becoming champion again was on the top of her mind. If it wasn't for, like, Charlotte challenging Tiff, she probably would have asked to squish her the same way.
To fuck with Tiff.
Or something in that light.
You're talking about competing against Tiff.
Yeah, she would have did something like she did with Bianca to her, but to Tiff, to come back and get the belt. Because she needs to be in that. I just don't fucking understand it. I'm so fucking confused by it. Monday I was hoping would explain something, and she just then.
And they just made it worse.
I don't want to see that feud. It's weird.
We didn't even get an explanation as to why they were a fucking team in the fucking first place. Now, if they did it on the press conference, that's fine. But I'm not staying up till 2 in the fucking morning to watch the fucking post conference. I don't do it for AEW. I'm not doing it for you. So if you don't tell me on the fucking television, I don't fucking know. Or at the very least, post something on the internet about it, because the whole post show is not on the internet, not immediately. You have to go back to Peacock. You have to, whatever the case. I'm not staying up to 2 in the morning to find out. And here's another funny thing, because you were just talking about, you said in the middle of all that, why does Lyra Valkyria need 2 belts? Okay? I don't blame Lyra Valkyria for anything that's coming her way.
Oh, no.
But
I don't want that to be clear. That's not what
yeah,
I'm doing.
I'm not, because Lyra's in a position where she can't yay or nay anything. This is them.
No.
This is them strapping a fucking rocket to her back, and no disrespect, because she's not terrible in the ring at all whatsoever. But no one gives a teetotal shit about Lyra Valkyria. I'm listening to these audience reactions, and I'm telling you, in fucking Europe, they didn't give a fuck. And they give a fuck about everything. If the janitor got into the ring and took a shit in segment 3, they'd have popped for it. You know which mid-card women's title is fucking over? Chelsea fucking Green. And she's not on the fucking card. She's more over than Lyra is. She's not even on the card. Lyra had 2 belts at the end of WrestleMania. And then it dawned on me.
Now I know why. Because they weren't going to put her in a tag team with
Lyra.
Now that makes sense why Chelsea was not getting a WrestleMania moment when this should have been the time to do it, but Lyra was. It was all part of the plan. And I don't think, and that's another thing. It was all a part of the plan for a while, but I don't think Bayley knew that that was the case.
Nope.
And when they decided to pull the trigger, they pulled her out, not even on camera. She didn't make an appearance on camera at all. They just said, "Yo, she ain't here. She got hurt."
Yeah.
Like that's
let me finish my epiphany, because I was again, because that's the only person I ever talked to, and I was talking to my wife, and I said, it's fucked up that Chelsea's not getting on this card, but Lyra is. She's far more over. And she's got the United States Championship, which, they're having the matches on SmackDown, but they're not nearly as being as heavily pushed as the Intercontinental title matches. And then it dawned on me, like a lightning bolt to the head. Who's Chelsea Green's husband? Zack Ryder.
okay.
Who got left off this WrestleMania card as U.S. champion despite being more over than almost all the other champions? Chelsea Green. Who does that remind me of? Zack Ryder. Uh-oh. The curse has been passed sexually. She is now getting the Zack Ryder treatment at WWE. She's inherited the curse. That's it. No matter how hard you work or how over you get, we don't want you. We want the other guy. It's happening all over again. And I feel terrible for the little lady, for the lassie. Not the other one, but the real one. So that was a big kerfuffle. But it leads us, as pissed off as everybody was by the end of that one, and there was a lot of pissed off people. I will let you know, sir, you are not alone in the ideology that when I tell you that people were fucking mad that Becky Lynch came back and did that shit, whole baby.
Again.
But
And
not
I'm mad at you again.
but not nearly as mad as they were by the end of this next one, because the next one is the last one. The WWE Undisputed Championship match. John Cena against Cody Rhodes for the championship. And I might be on a planet all by myself, but based on the promos, based on the character change, when that motherfucker's music, actually before the music hitting, before the entrance, that package, when they played the package leading up to the match, I looked at that package, and the packages usually hype me up. Oh, baby. Here's the story. Here we go. When I saw that package, I went, that has to be one of the worst championship packages I've ever seen at a WrestleMania in my life. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. They didn't do anything. There was a lot of talking, a lot of back and forth, a couple of inside shots, a couple of burns, nothing really serious. And then the package ended. And I went, okay, nothing happened. Then John Cena's music hit. And did you see that entrance? No color, No filler, no life, no energy, black on white. It's like one of those old movie things where it's a bag of chips where it's just a white bag and it says in black plain lettering chips. That's it. It's just there's no flavor to this. It's ramen noodle with no season pack in it. It's just straight water and substance and fuel. No flavor, no calories, no carbs. It's just gruel in a bowl. There's nothing there. Comes out in the all black. It's just
great wheat.
It's great wheat. That's it. There's nothing there. It's space food. It's just enough to keep you alive. There's nothing there. He has, and this is where, and we're not gonna go move for move with the match, but the overall gist of John Cena's new transformation is the ideology that he wants to ruin this for people. He wants to ruin wrestling. You took the passion away from him, so now he's going to take what you like away from you. No frills, no energy, none of that stuff. All the stuff that I used to do to get you juiced up, it's all gone. And to take it a step further, I'm going to beat Cody Rhodes. I'm going to take the championship, and I'm going to go home with it. This belt now belongs to me. You can get a new belt, start a new legacy, but this legacy ends with me. It's my belt. Nada boo-boo. There's nothing you can do about it. And he has metamorphosized into this wet blanket, just some basic non-salted crackers. It's just that's it. Just whatever you need to do to keep your body organs functioning, whatever the case. And then I was overcome with a great deal of confusion, baffled even. And I was having a beer. It's the main event. You have beers.
Yeah.
And out of fucking nowhere, I'm watching John Cena come out. It's like we just said, wet blanket, nothing's happening. And then out of the fucking blue, for zero reason, really, I don't know why or what's happening, a couple of dudes on motorbikes just start zipping by and going off ramps and doing. They're not even doing flips. It was almost like they were testing the ramp. It was just woo, woo. Like they're not even like doing. Like I used to go to Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus, and they used to put the little motorcycle bikes inside that big metal ball, and they'd go in like a circle, and then they put another guy on a bike, and he'd go in a fucking circle, and they were doing circles without hitting each other. That's some pretty impressive shit. These motherfuckers looked like they were just testing the brakes. Like it looked like rehearsal. And we'll do the real one later, but now it's later, and they're still doing the rehearsal bullshit. They didn't go anywhere. They didn't do anything. And then Cody's fucking Titantron showed up, and it was like this weird song was playing. He showed up, and he's got that stupid tattoo mask on again. And I'm taking a sip, and so far I'm thinking, what the fuck is happening? But then, almost like a human form of eraser, everything that I just saw, I forgave. Immediately. Ding! Just like that. Because his fucking mask did the fucking Iron Man open, and my dick got stiff. I got hard as fuck. I was like,
it's so funny you say that. It's verbatim. Like all that stuff. Literally everything you said in real time. That's what I was thinking. I was like, what is this? What are those bikes? Like, that's fucking stupid. What is going on here? Then hit the music, it comes out, and I literally in real time, he walks up and I go, you know what? I'm about sick and tired of this stupid fucking hell. Oh my god, that was fucking awesome, dude. It happened literally just like that. As I was saying it, the helmet came up, and I'm like, okay.
We had the same reaction. My wife was like, again with the fucking helmet, and because he did it at SummerSlam. He did it at WrestleMania. He was like, again with the fucking helmet. And then clink, and we went, awesome.
Such a bad helmet. So big and bulky and fucking weird. And I'm like, dude, this is that is the greatest thing I've ever fucking seen.
The greatest thing. This is so awesome. And yeah, no, the helmet was
well played. Fuck you.
Yeah, well played.
Well played.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't need to see it anymore, but that was dope. That was dope. That was hot. That was fire.
That was fire. I ain't gonna hold you. That was cool.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool. That was cool. And then we get into the match itself. Again, no frills. It's wrestling. We're having a wrestling match. It divulges into a finishing move competition. Right? We've got like 11 AAs, a couple of crossroads. We're trying things off the top rope. You know, we'll have our cake and eat it too. And things get weird. And before I get into the final part of this match, I have to say something. Because this was part of a lot of the criticism. And the video you sent me with Ariel Hawani actually brought this up too. And sometimes I have to remember that the fandom of wrestling sometimes has a way of getting into its own way, and sometimes their level of expectation can be clouded by very certain realities. So at the end of last year's WrestleMania, a full year ago, there was a lot of talk that while Cody is the champion, at least now we have a reason to do Rock Roman, because the tag match ended very cleanly, but at the same time, Roman lost the title. That goes against everything The Rock stands for. We don't lose matches like that. We don't damage the bloodline. There was something built in there. And then the night after WrestleMania, when Solo became de facto leader of the bloodline in Roman's absence, there's something there, right? Roman in the original bloodline, Rock could come in and probably do something with the younger guy. There's opportunities to do certain things. But Rock left WrestleMania and did a bunch of his own shit, whatever it was he was doing. We get to, I want to say, No Mercy, I think it was, that random-ass appearance he made later on in the year.
Mm-hmm.
He comes back for a short little while, and it's all over the websites. It's all over the internet. It's all everywhere. The Rock is calling an audible because he can't perform at WrestleMania. So he planted the seed with Cody Rhodes, but this is not the last time you and I will be having this conversation. I'm coming for you, and I'm coming for that, for the championship. There were seeds that were dropped as far as him being a heel and the whole shebang. But he comes back, and he's shaking hands with everybody, and he's good friends with everybody. And here, drink some Terramana with us, have some tequila and the whole shebang. Which, by the way, I've yet to have Terramana, and I'm not in a rush, but it looks amazing because everyone who has it gets fucked up because they get on camera. I've never seen The Rock perform drunk until NXT, and that was a beautiful sight. We need more of that from The Rock. But we were canceling this storyline, and the reason we were canceling this storyline is because he wasn't going to be at WrestleMania. It was under the understanding of a lot of wrestling aficionados, insiders, fans, whatever the case may be, people who live in the bubble. It was pretty well understood that The Rock wasn't going to be at WrestleMania, which is what made the Elimination Chamber so ultra stupid, because it set it up like he was, when we've been hearing for forever that he's not gonna. So what happens is that unless you follow this, then you didn't know that he wasn't going to be there. If you are a casual, let's say worst case scenario, you don't really watch wrestling like that, but you'll catch WrestleMania. When you watch the package, when you watch the build toward this Cody Rhodes John Cena story, The Rock's in there with Travis Scott. And so you kind of get hyped because you're like, oh, I guess Rock's going to be a part of this. There were a lot of people that thought The Rock was going to be there this weekend. It was going to be on that show. And were legitimately upset and frustrated when he wasn't. But that's unfair to I think the people who are casuals in this one occasion, I really do think they got jerked around, because it's in all the promotional material, It's built up like he's going to be a part
You're
of
saying
this.
it's kind of not their fault.
I
for
don't
feeling that
Yeah,
way.
so for the people out there who are upset that he didn't show up, I kind of understand your frustration because they promoted it like he was going to be there when we all knew a while ago, probably toward the end of the summer, that he wasn't going to be at WrestleMania. But so many people thought that he was, and I think it really tuned them out of this match because now we get to that final spot. John does a super AA. He's coming off the top rope. Cody kicks out. Here comes Travis Scott music. And here comes Travis Scott. This is the part where people thought, okay, here comes The Rock, because that's how that entrance has gone before. They play the song, Travis Scott comes out, he looks at the crowd, he stands there, hogging the camera, then the lights dim, if you smell. That didn't happen this time. It was literally just Travis Scott. The one guy nobody in this fucking scenario wants to fucking see. Not one fucking person gives a shit about Travis Scott. I got no problem with the man or his music. I wouldn't know nothing about it. I don't dabble in that. But this it hurt more than it helped. And it keeps hurting. And I don't know why they keep doing it. It hurt at the Chamber. It hurt on the Raw with Jey Uso. Travis Scott did a whole entrance with Jey Uso smoking a blunt on television. Everything he does hurts the fucking company, and they keep fucking doing this. I don't understand the connection. I doubt very seriously any of the Travis Scott fans who aren't already watching wrestling are going to start tuning in because Travis Scott's on the show. I don't believe it. So I don't know.
Sold on it.
I don't know how this helps, who this helps, who are you thinking that you're bringing in by doing this? I don't get it. But the match itself, very methodical, very bare bones, not a lot going on. They did have the crowd toward the end with the false finishes, but again, that had been ran into the ground at that point. Travis Scott comes out, and the one positive to Travis Scott coming out, and there's only one.
Travis cock.
Yeah, Travis's cock came out. The one positive, there was only one thing that people would have gone, okay, I'm glad it came out. And that's if Cody would have gotten his receipt on Travis Scott for the eardrum. People were like, okay, here it comes. And then I got hyped because they mentioned it on commentary. And they said, oh, yeah, Cody did an interview the other day. He said if he sees Travis Scott, he's going to get his receipt.
It's on site?
I said, yeah, that's how they would try to sell it. So I said, oh, baby, he's coming out.
I mean, I think he did a little bit.
No, he didn't. He gave him a worked Cody Rhodes. He didn't fucking. I wanted him to go upside Travis's fucking head. Give him not punch. I'm not asking him to knock him out. But Travis smacked him, smack him back. That's all that I'm asking. Take a slap. He took a fucking crossroads. My son takes a crossroads. Get fucking slapped. You
He put a little stank on it, though.
I
felt like he put a little stank on that.
There's no stank. Cody, the crossroads is a completely protected move. He took a fucking front bump. That's bullshit. I wanted this motherfucker to go up. You got to go upside this motherfucker's head. That's not a receipt. That was a planned spot. That's not what a receipt is. That is not. Young people out there in the industry right now, if you hear the term receipt, don't think that's it. Because you're going to be.
Don't think that's coming.
Don't think that that's
going to be far worse.
Don't think that's an actual receipt. It's not. The receipt that's coming to you is going to be far worse than what that is. Because the receipt is either equal to or more than what you did. That's a receipt. You're either going to get equal because I respect you or more because fuck you. That's a fucking receipt.
Damn.
If you slap me in my
just made a mistake.
If you slap me in my ear and bust my eardrum, the receipt is I'm punching you in the fucking eye. That's the fucking receipt.
Wow.
But he did a work spot. It was a fucking crossroads. So even that, there was one thing on the table where we could have got, at least, okay, Travis Scott came out there so Cody can get his fucking comeuppance. That didn't even happen. He took a fucking front bump that he didn't even sell for long because as soon as the match was over, he was back in the ring, no selling with John Cena. So it meant nothing. It wasn't a fucking receipt. But then
he's not a professional, dude. I
Yeah.
don't know what you guys are expecting. I feel like
I don't expect him to be there because
feel
he's
like
not a
Logan-
professional.
I feel like Logan and Bad Bunny, and that shit made me mad, by the way, when he mentioned Travis Scott and Bad Bunny's name together.
Oof.
I actually got pissed off about that. But Triple H did in the post conference.
Yeah.
He made reference to Bad Bunny and like how he loves the business just like Bad Bunny. I'm like, dude, all right, stop it. Like, cut it out.
Enough.
Bad Bunny fucking killed it, dude. Still hands down one of my favorite entrances in Puerto Rico. That is the greatest fucking entrance I have ever seen in my life. Anyway, I digress. But yeah, dude, he's just I don't know, man. I don't get it. I honestly think
he loves the business. Cool. Then let him rap about it. I don't understand where have we lost him?
I honestly think because that's how I saw it. When I saw The Rock come out that last time with Travis Scott there, that's when he popped his eardrum.
Yeah.
My brain went to, why is he here? What are we doing here? And then I'm like, okay, I think Travis Scott is only here to make it make sense when Travis Scott comes out in The Rock's place because The Rock can't make it. That's what my brain went to. And I
So then
feel
this
like
went exactly the way you thought.
About Travis Scott. Huh?
So then this happened exactly the way you thought.
Yeah, I knew Travis Scott was going to come out. I knew he was going to do something weird, and it was just going to be what it was. Like, even at the end when Cena was raising his hand in the air and Travis Scott was standing there, Cena was like, put your belt in the air. Like, he had to tell him to raise his other arm. It's just fucking weird. I don't understand why they're doing it, but whatever.
So
I hope
this
there
is
isn't more Travis Scott.
This is being regarded as one of the worst WrestleMania events, one of the worst WrestleMania main events in a very long time, which sucks because last year's match is widely regarded as one of the best ever. So that's a hard
What
fall.
are you fuck with what it's regarded? What do you think? Because let me ask you a question. Did you think Cena wrestled any different in this match?
Yes.
Did you? Okay, hold on. My next follow-up question is, do you think he wrestled his ass off? And if he did, or even more than he normally did, do you think it was intentional?
I think he didn't wrestle the way that he would normally wrestle, and yes, it was intentional. Because we just...
In what way? You phrased that weird.
Okay.
Like, did he wrestle well?
Yes.
Or?
No. Here's what I mean by that, right? Part of what made... Because if you just judge John solely on physical ability to wrestle, can he do the moves? Side headlock.
He can go.
Side
He's proved
headlock,
he can
headlock
go.
takeover, yes, he can. What made John special isn't just what he did. It's how he did it. With the energy, with the intensity, that connection to the audience. When he'd bump a guy and then he'd stare at the crowd and throw the hand up for the fucking you can't see me or the shoulder tackle and then look. Every time he would connect to the audience, that's what he took away. See, I'm glad you brought this question up because this is another thing that was fucking with me. People keep complaining about John Cena's heel turn because they're saying it doesn't make sense. There's not a lot of happening here. Right. There isn't. How long have people wanted him to turn heel? For forever. So what we're doing is we're running into a situation where we're like, turn heel, turn heel, turn heel, turn heel. Fine, I'll turn heel. And they go, oh, but not like that. Don't do it like that. I want you to be a bad guy, but be a bad guy that I like. No. He's doing everything he can to be the most boring, bland, do-nothing motherfucker on the planet. Everyone hates it. Nope. That's the fucking point. Because
I will make my last point, and I will say up until the very end, we'll watch this whole thing play out. I said it from day one. The way this should go is an all-out fuck you tour.
No.
Not only am I going as a heel, but you're gonna fucking hate my heel.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna be long, and I'm gonna leave you just edged, no nuts, and you're not going to be able to handle it, and it's going to annoy you, and you're going to be like, this destroys his legacy. And that's one of the big reasons why I want to show you that video, because I like the fact that they were saying, because I think that's what people really think. And they're like, oh, he's not a good heel, and he's guys, hey, I truly believe he's not being this is not a heel turn. You're looking at it in wrestling terms, which makes sense because we're watching wrestling. And I honestly believe that it's not that. It's just, this really feels like a fuck you guys. And whether it's a shoot or he's playing it that way, I think that's his mentality, and he's going to make you think he's building to something for a big bang at the end, and to make you go, oh, I knew it, when in actuality, he's just gonna fucking walk away. And if he walks away, if Triple H, which I don't think this is gonna happen, but if Triple H allows him to walk away with the belt and then just make people have like a tournament for it, I personally think that'd be the absolute coolest way to fucking retire. To actually be allowed to pull that off,
Yeah.
is fucking next level. And I will stand on the fact that I've been saying this from day one since the heel turn. This is him, Triple H. Let me just get my shit off and leave. I'm done with this company. I don't feel appreciated, not by you guys, by the fans. And I want to be able to have the opportunity to fucking show that. And I think he's doing it. And every time he does something new, everyone's like, oh, well, this is not like a good heel. I'm like, asshole. He's not. He's literally telling you, fuck you, to your face.
Yeah.
He's not playing a gimmick. He's actually saying,
Yeah.
fuck you.
Yes, fuck
and
you.
you still looking at it like wrestling, and he's literally like, no, my name is Jonathan Cena, and I'm trying to tell you, fuck you. And you're just like, oh, come on, man, you can't see me.
Right,
Yeah.
no, fuck you, I get it, but right, but do this. No. No.
Do the thing. Do
the thing, yeah. I know you're saying fuck me. Yeah. No, I get it, but do the thing. No.
This is hands down some of the greatest Tina I've ever seen in my whole life. And this is fucking phenomenal, and I love it. I'm done.
And I'm trying to tell people, this is a heel. A heel is someone who does the things you don't like, and a person who refuses to do the things that you do like. This is his version of that. But traditionally speaking, that's always been a heel. My generation is an entire generation of individuals who grew up with cool heels. So that's what they're used to. The bad guy says bad guy things, but he says it kind of like in a funny way, so I can kind of get into it. That's not what John is doing. I'm going to, when I hit a guy with a move, he's going against training. Because as a wrestler, when you train to do moves, you do the moves, bam, and you make sure you make your eye contact, you interact with the audience, you make the people in the room feel like they're a part of the match. He's doing the complete opposite. He's not doing any of that. He's wrestling that match almost as if nobody's in the room. He's not looking at anybody. He's not talking to anybody. There's no shit talking. There's no rah-rah. There's no fire up. There's no spirit. There's no... Even when he's getting beat up, what he used to do is he used to get beat up and he'd fire up, beat up, he'd fire up, and he'd go, come on, motherfucker, hit me. None of that. He falls down, ooh, my back, and then he gets up, and he does whatever the fuck he's going to do. Look at his facial expressions when he hit the AA the first time, and he pinned Cody, and Cody kicks out, and he laughed. He didn't laugh because it was funny Cody kicked out. He laughed because he expected him to kick out. He laughed because, awesome, I'm glad you kicked out because now I get to do it again. Because you're not going to be, I'm going to keep doing this shit until I put you down. John's been there before. He's doing a bunch of shit that you just don't like. When everyone wanted him to turn heel, they expected heel music, heel gear. Okay, those are things you want, so then you don't get it. Remember the first promo he cut? What do we get? What do we get? What do we get? You get nothing. And that's literally, like you just said, he's telling you to your fucking face, I'm not giving you anything. And then people are still right now going, okay, I know you said you weren't going to give me anything, but you're literally giving me nothing. So what am I supposed to do with this? Like, they don't know. The wrestling fans' brains are fucking melting right now. They don't know how to deal with this. Oh, he's boring.
I don't blame them, though.
Okay. You don't blame them on not. No, I don't either. I don't either. Because this is not what they were trained to know.
Because honestly, what I'm seeing is what I want to happen, not what I think is going to happen. I think the payout is going to inevitably come. I just hope it doesn't.
Yeah. But that's the thing. That's the thing really about it, because there's so many people who are not used to this version, who are not used to the ideology that there is a person in the ring who legitimately does not give a fuck about you and what you want.
Mm-hmm.
It's just more of that the customer is always right bullshit. No, fuck you. I'm going to give you what I'm going to give you, and you can decide to pay for it or not. I'm not. No, you don't run the show here. I run the show here. John said it on. You know what? Let's get to. I'm gonna get to this real quickly before we gotta go. The Monday Night Raw that followed opens with John, and he's got the title belt. And he
wants to get it done early. I want to get out of here.
Yeah,
early.
I want to be on the next flight out. So here we go. I'm going to tell you guys what's going on. And they gave him. This is proof to what I just said about these people not understanding what John is doing. Their response to John's promo proved to me, without beyond the shadow of a doubt, what I've been saying about this entire process, because of how they responded to John. When John came out with the belt, they cheered. They cheered him. And this is the part where heels today would hear the cheers and think in their head, I got to audible out of this. This is getting too big. They love it too much. I got to steer into that. John stayed the course. And he said, oh, because I walk out here with some shiny gold and you cheer me, all of a sudden all is forgiven? I'm supposed to just move on? And he's going back and forth, and he hits him with the line, every single one of you in here owes me an apology, and none of you have the guts to fucking do it. And he continues with his promo, and then there it is, the chant. The chant from the audience, we are sorry, we are sorry, and again, if a heel today would have bypassed the cheers like John did, and got that line out and gotten that chant,
that would have turned him.
That would have turned him. That would have turned the guy and saying, now I'm going to steer into it. John still stayed the fucking course.
What do you do when a man is truly broken?
He's still. You know what this is? You know what the best analogy I can give for this? It's the guy who never appreciated his girl, always took her for granted. She did all these nice things. You just assumed that it would always be there. You'd flirt with other girls. She'd get mad. You calm her down. She'd take you back. You'd exchange a few DMs. You get caught. She gets mad. She takes you back. You just kept pushing and kept pushing. Finally, you slip in a big way. You cheat. Full-on cheat. She catches you. And you start with the slick talk. And you start with the end. But she's done now. It's over. Mm-hmm. And that feeling, that sense that comes over you when you put your game on it, it don't work. And you try to talk it out, and it don't work. And you beg, and it don't work. It's over. You're not listening to me. It's the audience is the abuse. Just like John's saying, the toxic relationship. They're the abusive boyfriend. They went after him like they normally would. Let's go, Cena. Cena sucks. That didn't work. Then they overcame their guilt from that and cheered him. Oh, well, he's champion. Okay, well, you know what? Respect, John. Respect. 17 world titles. And he's, no, I'm done. Then they said, okay, well, you know what? We're sorry, John. That's what you've been wanting, right? You want an apology? Okay, sincere apology. We apologize, John. We are sorry. No, I'm done. That's why these people are... People who say they're hating the heel turn, they don't understand it. Because they're not getting what they want from it. This is not the heel they wanted. So their brains are malfunctioning. They don't fucking know how to process this. It's a heel who genuinely does not care what you think about him. And he's doing everything to make sure that whatever he does you don't like. I made the complaint that the only reason this promo package and this whole build-up to Cody really felt down to me is because nothing happened. If anything, the only thing that physically happened was Cody dropped him twice. John never touched Cody until the match. So, more fuel to the fire. They wanted him to be the Doctor of Thugonomics again. Nope. Okay, well, he's going to be ultra aggressive now. Super Cena. He's going to bring the shove. Nope. Oh, but he's going to change his ring music, right? He's going to do Bad Man. He's going to do... Nope. Anytime you tell this man, if I were you, if you want John to do something, I'd keep it to yourself. Because as soon as you say it out loud, he's going to add that bitch to the list of shit he's not going to fucking do. He's got a list. He checks it twice and makes sure that whatever it is you want to see him do, he will never fucking do again. And the more you ask for it, the more he's going to remind you about the fact that you don't, what do I get? Nothing. You're not getting nothing. This is the gimmick. People keep saying, I don't get it. This doesn't make any sense. This is the gimmick. I'm explaining it to you right now. This is the gimmick. He's just doing the opposite of what you want. Period. That's the short version of it. It gets more complicated, but that's the basis of the gimmick. You took his passion from him. So, since you took what he loves, he's going to take from you what you love. This is very rudimentary storytelling. It's just very rarely executed like this. So the same thing here going on with Raw. After the Cena promo, the tag team title match between the women, which you already went through with that. Then we had the Becky Lynch attacking Lyra. Rusev returning, attacking American Alpha, which was a weird placement for that, because we thought we were going to get a tag team title match, and then Rusev just came out and did a bunch of weird shit. Stephanie Vaquer, or Vacour, or however the fuck you say her name, made her Raw debut against Io Sky in a paint-by-numbers matchup. I don't know what that was. Everybody was screaming for it, but I watched that match, and that match looked like it was being held in mud. Rhea Ripley comes out, starts some shit up with fucking Io, but Julia also with the stare down. That's interesting to me. I'd like to see Julia and Rhea Ripley. That was interesting. Jey Uso's celebration for the world title with Sami Zayn and Jimmy Uso, where Sami kind of gave him that look. There was a lot of people here comes the haluva kick, and it never actually came out, but there was a brief little moment there. Gunther choking out Pat McAfee was awesome. That whole segment.
I'm not gonna hold you. I don't know why, but that shit kind of like made me emotional. I'm not gonna lie. I'm literally sitting there like, why the fuck are my eyes getting teary? I don't know. It's just something about like
because Pat is the man.
Gunther was going and like Pat trying to like protect him, and then when he like started choking him out, he came over and punched him. That got me for some reason. Like him coming over and punching him was like, yeah, dude. Protect your friend.
Get your boy over here. Yeah.
I don't know why, dude. That segment right there was fucking fire.
Which is funny because there's one of my favorite Michael Cole Pat McAfee moments was there was an injury in the ring with cracked ribs, and Michael Cole leans over to Pat and goes, Yeah, I'm pretty sure with your athletic career, you've had cracked ribs. And Pat goes, no, sir. I played a position on the field that required me not to get hit. If I got cracked ribs, I'd cry, right? And that's just him playing it up, and that's hilarious. That line was hilarious. But here's the thing: like you don't survive the NFL by being a bitch. There's no fucking way. And the fact that they had the guts, yeah, he put his hands on Michael Cole, and Pat didn't fuck him up or anything. But like the fact that he didn't hesitate to lunge to defend Michael, I think was the coolest part.
He just took the hate off of Michael. Yeah. That's all he wanted to do.
Yeah. And then he turned his back because he thought he was being separated and then Gunther came in.
He thought he was protected.
Yeah. He didn't turn his back on Gunther. There was people in between them. And then Gunther came through, got through the pile and just put that on. And I got to admit, it might have been a hair on the overkill, but he sold the fuck out of that chokehold.
Oh, that was fucking amazing.
Bright red with the sore throat and the collapse. Like, he made it look like he had a whole collapsed throat in there. That was pretty good. They took him to the trainer's room. I'm going to say something I thought I'd never say in my entire life. But God damn it, Michael Cole, too. Because he got that pop when he was talking to Adam Pearce.
Yep. If I'm being honest, you're the one that tapped.
Well, no, not that part. The part after. So when they bring Pat to the trainer's room, everyone's going into the trainer's room, and Adam Pearce is like the last of the group. He closes the door because I think Michael was going to go in there with him, and he was like, no, you know, why don't you take the night off and blah blah. And Michael states his case. These guys can't be putting their hands on us and blah 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 blah. He said, no, don't worry about it. We're going to take care of him and blah blah blah. He goes, here, why don't you take the night off? And Michael goes, are you kidding me? This is WrestleMania weekend, man. I'm not letting some bully take me out of my job. I'm going to go do my job. He turned around and got a monster pop for it. And they were chanting his name when he was walking down the aisle. The people loved the fact that Michael was like, fuck that, I got a job to do. And he fucking went out there and did it anyway. And people were like, respect, homie. I didn't think you had it in you. Where those huevos come from? So,
dude, when your best friend punches the bully, dude, you gotta finish the job.
Oh,
dude.
yeah, definitely. You gotta fucking finish
that. Not being wrestling, kind of, sort of, not wrestling related, was a phenomenal moment, man. That was freaking awesome.
That was pretty cool. Dominic already putting in the work, defending the Intercontinental Championship one night after winning it, especially against a quality opponent like Penta. We all knew how this was going to go, but surprise, surprise, JD McDonough, old Funko Pop head over here, he's back. He came back to the Judgment Day, which they're teasing the Finn thing with Dominic. We'll see how that goes. And then, of course, our final segment, Seth Rollins with the ultimate brag. He took Roman Reigns as wise man. He took CM Punk's best friend. He's the winner of what he feels is the most important WrestleMania main event of all time. Punk comes out with the tape. They get into the whole deal. Seth gets over on Punk, but only for Roman to come out. Now they go at it. Roman gets over on Seth for a few seconds, gets in the color, gets into the corner, hits him with the ooh-ah, only to get cut in half by a Braun Breaker, who throws
that like 600 times.
He throws that fucking spear like nobody's fucking business. Throws the spear, gets the fucking opportunity to cut Roman in half with the Round the Rosie on the outside with the guardrail. All hands are raised. We have a new Paul Heyman guy. We've got Seth Rollins. We've got Braun Breaker. And I have got a gut feeling we're going to get a whole lot more. I have a feeling something's being built here. And this makes me sad because I have a gut. There's a piece of my gut that feels like this is kind of assembling like an old stable of Pauls. You see, Paul used to have a stable way back in the day called the Dangerous Alliance. And it had quite a number of some of our favorite superstars in there that he managed. And I feel like this might be leaning ever so closely into that direction. I don't think they're going to do the name because I think I think they already kind of teased the name they're going to go with. They're probably going to go with the Paul Heyman guys, which has been that nickname for whoever he's managed back in the day. But so the Dangerous Alliance has been around for a number of different companies, but the most famous one being the WCW one, because that was Paul Heyman. He had Arn Anderson, Bobby Eaton, Larry Zbyszko, Medusa was there as a valet, Michael P.S. Hayes was another manager there. He also had Rick Rude and Steve Austin in the Dangerous Alliance. And I don't think it's going to be that deep. They maybe add one other person. There's a rumor we may be adding Becky, which would be the first time that Seth and Becky are doing something together, which also puts a sour pit in my stomach, because I feel like if they did do something like this, where they recreate something that Paul used to do back in the day, Paul hates recreating shit. He hates that. But I have a feeling that they're going to do this. This might be leading more towards retirement. This might be him writing kind of himself off, which leads to why I feel like he was such an integral part of that WrestleMania main event. Now they're going to give him his own little group again, and maybe we go out the way we came in kind of situation. Same thing with Seth. Seth and Becky. Seth's on limited time with the back anyway, and I feel like because Seth and Becky have been really good about keeping their business completely separate from each other, if this does happen and they end up working in the same stable together, I kind of feel like that's kind of the end for them too. So, like, I'm glad Braun's here. He's the future, for sure. He's the next guy. They have made it clear they're getting behind Braun. He's going to be the next guy. But if I'm Braun Breaker, so far, just these two, Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker in my corner, that's a nice elevation. That's a nice push. I dig that. I dig that. So that's our WrestleMania weekend, guys. We have got to get out of here. But this is our WrestleMania weekend. 2 nights of WrestleMania, Hall of Fame, NXT Stand and Deliver, the Slammy Awards on Saturday, Monday Night Raw. They're getting the fuck out of Vegas, and we are getting the fuck out of here. Jesus Christ. Next week, no wrestling. We're doing a palate cleanse, but we do have some fun stuff that we're going to be talking about. There will be laughs. There will be jokes made. There will be some nostalgia. There might be a special guest with one of my ideas. We might have a third member of our little show next week, and it might be. I don't want to get ahead of myself. He's putting the work together, but I think Little O is going to be joining us next week because we've got a project that we'd like to include Uncle Dave in that I think is going to be really fun and really cool to do on the show. And he's putting in the work. He's doing the research. So once he figures that stuff out, I'll send you the rundown. You'll see what we're getting into. It should be a fun time. But we've got some non-wrestling stuff that we're going to be getting into, taking a break. So let's get the hell out of here. I got to go eat some food. It's fucking late. Thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading. Thank you for sharing. And, of course, thank you guys for enjoying all of WrestleMania weekend, guys. We'll see you next week.
Mic drop. Wait a minute. This is too much. Cooking it like a pro. Wrap it up, everybody. Show's over.